If you had the ability to know whether someone was lying or telling the truth, who would you want to test first? Mak Sol-hee has the ability to hear lies, no matter how well they are disguised. That evening, she received a new assignment from a mob boss. He wanted her to come and test 3 of his underlings to see which one was lying. She questioned each underling individually, but discovered that none of the 3 were lying. The mob boss's limping lieutenant didn't believe Mak Sol-hee's findings, but she revealed that he was the one who had leaked information to the Brown Bear gang. The proof? His limp was still fake, meaning he hadn't actually suffered the injury he claimed. Immediately, the mob boss had his men deal with the lieutenant. Mak Sol-hee collected her fee and quickly left. The next morning, as she was preparing to leave her home, she saw the limping lieutenant waiting for her at her door. Apparently, he held a grudge from the previous night and had come seeking revenge. With no other choice, she fled from his pursuit. But the lieutenant wasn't about to let her go easily and quickly chased after her in his car. Mak Sol-hee ran to the train station and bought a ticket to Seoul to escape. Once on the train, she hid, fearful that he would find her. Meanwhile, a conversation between 2 men caught Mak Sol-hee's attention. An older man was forcing the young man with him to find a girl named Choi Eom-jae. He accused the young man of toying with and then abandoning Choi Eom-jae's feelings. Despite the young man's explanations, the 2 started fighting on the train, attracting the attention of the limping lieutenant. Mak Sol-hee had no choice but to intervene. She pretended to be the young man's new girlfriend and shooed the older man off the train before the lieutenant could reach them. Soon after, the train started moving. Relieved to have escaped, Mak Sol-hee breathed a sigh of relief, but the young man was still staring at her. Seeing this, she simply said that she was in a hurry to get to Seoul and that's why she helped him. Mak Sol-hee couldn't understand why the young man had just sat there and let the older man hit him. It was as good as admitting he was two-timing. The young man, surprised by her words, looked at her suspiciously. Mak Sol-hee handed him her business card. She was a lie hunter, carrying out the mission of a truth god. The young man just looked at the card and then turned away. Throughout the rest of the journey, neither of them spoke. They just stared out the window at the passing scenery. After arriving in Seoul, she continued her work. But now, Mak Sol-hee was like a different person. Dressed like a wealthy heiress, she arrived at a mansion. Her task today was to visit this grand mansion as the cousin of the lady of the house, to secretly observe whether her fiancé was sincere. During the meal, she constantly questioned him. But her client's fiancé didn't lie. He even cheerfully replied that he was very satisfied with their shared intimacy. Mak Sol-hee continued, "Do you want to marry my cousin for her money?" He answered without hesitation, "At first, yes, it was for the money, but now I truly love her." After hearing Mak Sol-hee confirm that this statement was also true, the overjoyed lady of the house began planning the wedding. As they happily discussed the wedding, the lady of the house told her fiancé to greet their housekeeper, as they would be seeing each other a lot from now on. He cheerfully greeted the housekeeper. But as soon as he spoke, Mak Sol-hee sensed that he was lying. She quickly exposed his lie, causing the startled housekeeper to drop the wine bottle she was holding. Reflexively, the fiancé rushed to see what happened, while the housekeeper stood to the side, clutching her stomach. From the housekeeper's actions, Mak Sol-hee realized she was pregnant. She immediately asked him, "That baby is yours, isn't it?" He denied it, but she detected his lie and confirmed the baby was indeed his. Her mission was a complete success, and Mak Sol-hee quickly left the mansion. In the car, Mak Sol-hee quickly changed out of the expensive clothes and shoes. These were rentals for the job. For her, they were extravagant and held no allure. Her ability to discern truth from falsehood had been with her since she was in the womb. Her mother had prayed to all the gods, hoping for a talented child who could support her for life. Among the gods she prayed to, one granted her wish and bestowed Mak Sol-hee with this ability. Her mother wanted her to become a prosecutor so she could use her power for good. But one day, while still in school, Mak Sol-hee realized that instead of struggling to become a prosecutor, she could use her ability to make money. She could work in a quiet, secret place. She opened a cafe, but it was actually a front for meeting her clients. On her way home, her assistant persuaded her to attend Seon's award ceremony. The musician Kim Do-ha would also be there. He was Seon's personal musician, but no one knew anything about him other than his gender. Mok Sol-hee assumed he was just creating mystique around himself to further his career. That night, a young man wearing a black mask was driving when he was suddenly stopped by the police for a breathalyzer test. He seemed reluctant to lower his mask and reveal his face. At the same time, another car suddenly sped by, hitting a police officer and quickly fleeing. Taking advantage of the distraction, the masked man drove his car into a deserted alley. He slowly got out of the car and removed his mask. This young man was the musician Kim Do-ha. At the awards ceremony that night, Kim Do-ha did not appear to accept his award. Instead, Seon went on stage to accept it on his behalf, expressing her deep gratitude. She credited him with her success. After the ceremony, everyone wanted to commission music from him, but they couldn't reach him. Some speculated that composing was just a side job, and his real work required anonymity. Perhaps he was a secret agent. There were even rumors that he was a minor. No one knew who he really was. Left with no other options, people tried to get information about Kim Do-ha from Seon, but she couldn't reveal anything and simply said she didn't know. Normally, the two only communicated through a cat. Seizing an opportunity when no one was looking, she quickly left the party but was met by two reporters waiting in a car. As soon as she left in a taxi, the reporters followed. Kim Do-ha was at home, reading comments about himself online, when Seon arrived with two trophies. To get in, she lied and said that Jo Duk-chan was with her. Unsuspecting, he opened the door. Seeing that she was alone, he tried to get her to leave, but she refused. Seon gave him the awards from the ceremony. He smiled happily. Finding his face adorable, Seon took his phone and snapped a few pictures. When she left, the two reporters were still outside. Seeing her emerge with only one trophy, they realized that this must be Kim Do-ha's house. The next day, a crowd of people gathered in front of his house. As he got out of his car, he read a message from Jo Duk-chan and realized his location had been exposed. Reporters were even waiting for him in the parking lot. As one of them raised a camera to take a picture, old memories flooded back. Kim Do-ha quickly ran home. They even used a drone to try and learn more about him. At that same moment, Jo Duk-chan arrived and gave him the address of a safe house, urging him to go there. That evening, Mok Sol-hee was shopping in a convenience store when she noticed someone dressed very strangely staring at her. At the checkout, she saw a wanted poster for a man who had assaulted women. Coincidentally, the man's clothing matched the person she had just seen. Frightened, she grabbed her things and quickly left. On his way to the safe house, Kim Do-ha accidentally dropped a can, startling Mok Sol-hee and sending her running home. As usual, Mok Sol-hee went to the tarot cafe. She told her friend about the creepy man she encountered. Her friend immediately gave her some pepper spray for protection. Remembering she had an appointment at the Hop Cafe, Mok Sol-hee headed there. Her friend had just closed the tarot cafe when she sensed someone approaching. He covered her mouth, but she used the pepper spray to escape. However, he caught her again moments later, but she wrestled free, causing them both to stumble. She grabbed the pepper spray again and sprayed him in the face, leaving him writhing in pain. Hearing her screams, he quickly ran away. Mok Sol-hee and other nearby shop owners, hearing her screams, rushed to her aid. After she explained that a pervert had tried to attack her, they quickly split up to search for him. He was wearing black clothes and a black mask. A man spotted someone on the street matching the description and tackled Kim Do-ha from behind, preventing him from leaving. Another man rushed in, but accidentally pulled down the first man's pants, creating a humiliating scene. Kim Do-ha took advantage of the commotion and slipped away. However, he was quickly surrounded and apprehended by the crowd. Mok Sol-hee and her friend, hearing that the pervert had been caught, came to see. Listening to Kim Do-ha speak, she sensed he wasn't lying. Seeing someone try to pull off his mask, Mok Sol-hee stepped forward and told everyone he wasn't the culprit. While others doubted her, she declared firmly, "If I say so, then it is so." Her words reminded him of their first encounter on the train. He had heard the same phrase from her then. While the crowd continued to argue about whether Kim Do-ha was the attacker, Mok Sol-hee's friend arrived, smelled Kim Do-ha, and confirmed he wasn't the culprit. It turned out that when Mok Sol-hee grabbed for the pepper spray, she had accidentally grabbed a bottle of perfume. The perfume shop owner arrived, smelled the victim, and identified the scent as incense. Everyone quickly began checking each other's scents and discovered one man smelled of incense. The bakery owner went to investigate and discovered the man's jacket was reversible and that he had a black mask in his pocket. Finally, they had caught the real culprit. The victim, seeing him, delivered a blow that knocked him unconscious. With the situation resolved, Mok Sol-hee told Kim Do-ha to leave quickly. He didn't understand why she was helping him. He asked her if it was because she remembered who he was. But throughout the entire ordeal, Mok Sol-hee had never seen his face and didn't recognize him. Back at home, Mok Sol-hee was still puzzled. He clearly wasn't lying and wasn't the perpetrator, but something felt off. Why hadn't he shown his face the entire time? Kim Do-ha, unpacking at the safe house, noticed the lights flicker a few times before going out completely. The wind whistling through the window unnerved him. He went to check the light switch and saw a shadow on the wall, causing him to jump and fall. Coincidentally, Mok Sol-hee next door heard the commotion. She went out onto her balcony to investigate but didn't realize Kim Do-ha was in the house next door. The next morning, sunlight streaming through the window woke him. Stepping onto the balcony, he was greeted by a cheerful morning atmosphere, lifting his spirits. That morning, Mok Sol-hee continued her work. She had a new assignment: to pose as the daughter-in-law of a female client and meet with a real estate agent. Neither of them expected a mountain climb, so they both wore high heels. By the time they reached the summit, they were breathless. It turned out that her client wanted to purchase this hill and had hired Mok Sol-hee to scout the broker and verify his claims. While they were talking, a deer suddenly appeared. She suspected the land was part of a greenbelt, but the broker vehemently denied it. However, Mok Sol-hee detected that everything he said was a lie. He was only trying to rush the contract with her client. Just then, the broker received a call and stepped aside to answer it. Seizing the opportunity, Mok Sol-hee told her client about the broker's lies. Seeing them about to leave, the broker quickly hung up and tried to chase after them, only to be attacked by the deer from earlier. After the job was done, the client paid Mok Sol-hee her fee, along with a bonus for the arduous climb. She went to her locker and stored the earnings inside. The gold bars inside were the fruit of her labor, saved up thanks to her superpower. She hoped to use it to buy a house and build a life of her own. On her way, she received a notification about her mother's exorbitant spending this month. She went to the restaurant where her mother was dining to disrupt her business. It turned out her mother was impersonating a prominent figure to solicit investments and scam people. Because of Mok Sol-hee, her mother had served time in jail, so their relationship was strained. That evening, Mok Sol-hee set an alarm to intentionally watch her favorite team's game. Kim Do-ha, in the next room, was startled awake by her cheering. He went out to his balcony and peeked at the TV next door, realizing that his favorite team was playing, and he had forgotten. At the same time, a delivery driver arrived with food for both of them. Kim Do-ha went to retrieve the order, and as he was about to go inside, Mok Sol-hee mistakenly took his food. Seeing her, he recognized her as the person who had mistaken him for a pervert the other day. After a brief greeting, he quickly tried to enter his passcode, but it kept failing. Seeing this, she closed the door on him, watching. Once inside, they both realized the food had been mixed up by the delivery driver. She rang his doorbell to exchange the meals. Before he went inside, she tested him to see if he had tampered with her food, but she found he was telling the truth. While checking the food, Kim Do-ha noticed her portion didn't have cheese, so he offered her his, as a thank you for helping him previously. After going back inside, she realized they were fans of rival teams. As they watched the game, their reactions were completely opposite. Mok Sol-hee cheered excitedly as her favorite team won, while Kim Do-ha was disappointed that his team lost. Hearing her joyful shouts, he felt heartbroken and quickly closed his door and curtains. The next morning, Mok Sol-hee and her assistant were standing in front of a building when they spotted Kim Do-ha's luxury car. Her assistant took out her phone, intending to snap a few pictures, but accidentally dropped it, triggering the car alarm. Kim Do-ha, sitting in the car, saw them and reassured them it was okay. They apologized and drove off. Jo Duk-chan was calling Seon to choose outfits when he was startled by the sudden appearance of songwriter Park Moo-jin. Park Moo-jin showed him an article about Seon. During their conversation, he secretly recorded everything and intended to use it to blackmail Jo Duk-chan into taking him to meet Kim Do-ha. Knowing that Kim Do-ha easily falls asleep after eating almonds, Jo Duk-chan brought a large quantity with him. While Kim Do-ha went to get him some ice, Jo Duk-chan pleaded with him to meet Park Moo-jin. He told him about the blackmail. But since they were in the same industry and company, it was certain Park Moo-jin wanted to talk to him about music. Therefore, they couldn't find a replacement. Kim Do-ha had no choice but to meet him, but without revealing his face. As he was saying goodbye to Jo Duk-chan in the elevator, Mok Sol-hee mistakenly thought he was stealing the car. He hid in a corner, and her persistent staring made him uneasy. She asked him why he wore a mask every day, wondering if he was being pursued. She mistakenly believed creditors were after him and that he was trying to sell the car. But she didn't realize he was lying, so she let him go inside. Once inside, he breathed a sigh of relief that she hadn't recognized him. At that moment, his mother called. She wanted him to find 2 tickets to Seon's concert. That evening, he met his mother and gave her the tickets. Hearing him confirm he wasn't dating Seon, she urged him to find someone to marry. She suggested having a private meal together next time, but he declined, knowing she was intimidated by him. His words angered her, and she left. The next day, Park Moo-jin sought out Mok Sol-hee and asked her to determine whether Kim Do-ha was telling the truth. Before Kim Do-ha arrived at the meeting place, Park Moo-jin hid Mok Sol-hee behind a curtain. If he told the truth, she would press a button long once. If he lied, she would press it short twice. When he arrived, she confirmed he was indeed Kim Do-ha. Park Moo-jin began his plan to get him drunk and question him. Kim Do-ha answered his questions honestly, without any deception. Park Moo-jin was furious that he ultimately couldn't gather any information. Before Kim Do-ha could leave, Park Moo-jin forced him to finish a can of soda. However, he shook the can vigorously before handing it to him. When Kim Do-ha opened it, the soda sprayed all over him. Park Moo-jin seized the opportunity to try and wipe him off while secretly taking a picture. Before he could snap the photo, Mok Sol-hee quickly took one herself. Seeing this, Kim Do-ha angrily left. Upon reaching the door, he called for a hired driver to take him home. Mok Sol-hee's assistant, waiting outside, overheard the address he gave. She suddenly realized it was Kim Do-ha's home address. He, however, remained unsuspecting and continued watching Park Moo-jin's video. Meanwhile, Park Moo-jin angrily accused Mok Sol-hee of not being a truth god at all. But she knew he had plagiarized a song and threatened to expose him to the press unless he paid her the remaining balance. In the car, Mok Sol-hee told her assistant that Kim Do-ha and Seon weren't actually dating. Combined with the address she overheard earlier, she realized the person she met today was Kim Do-ha. So, she quickly chased after him. On the way, his lies infuriated her, and she told him to pull over. She left him on the side of the road and drove home herself. After parking, she noticed her next-door neighbor was there and went to investigate. From the soda stains, the glasses in his jacket pocket, and his words, she suspected he was Kim Do-ha. Curiosity led her to remove his mask. But as she was about to put it back on, Kim Do-ha woke up and grabbed her hand, startling her. He angrily stood up, put his mask back on, and refused to hear any explanation from her. Back home, he pondered why Mok Sol-hee would do such a thing. Just then, Jo Duk-chan arrived. He told Kim Do-ha that Mok Sol-hee had seen his face, and he was now worried. 5 years ago, she had helped him out of a difficult situation on a bus to Seoul, so Jo Duk-chan felt it wouldn't be a big deal. Mok Sol-hee also felt guilty about the incident, but she recalled how he always tried to hide his face every time they met. After checking Kim Do-ha's social media profile, she realized he was hiding his identity. The next morning, Mok Sol-hee was eating alone at a restaurant when 2 men, dressed like gangsters, approached and sat across from her. Hearing their conversation filled with lies, she burst out laughing. Seeing this, one of the men decided to show off his pick-up skills to his friend. He intentionally asked her if she had a boyfriend, since she was eating alone. But Mok Sol-hee wasn't interested in this type of man. Furthermore, his words were full of lies, so she coldly replied and quickly left. The next day, Mok Sol-hee ran into Kim Do-ha as she was leaving her apartment. She apologized for the previous night. She admitted to being curious because he always covered his face so thoroughly. Seeing him drunk in the parking lot, she couldn't resist taking off his mask. She wouldn't have done it if she'd known he was so afraid of revealing his face that he wouldn't even go home. He wasn't concerned about that. He only cared about what she thought when she saw his face. Her answer surprised him. She had no particular impression of him. She just thought Kim Do-ha was somewhat handsome. As they were talking, a strange man approached. Kim Do-ha stepped in front of Mok Sol-hee as if to protect her. The man said he had lost his phone and asked to borrow theirs for a moment. Hearing that the man was telling the truth, she handed him her phone. Kim Do-ha was surprised by her action. He worried the man was lying, but only she knew he was telling the truth. After making the call, the man returned her phone. He then asked to borrow some money for travel expenses. Without hesitation, Mok Sol-hee reached into her bag, but realized she had forgotten to bring cash. She borrowed some money from Kim Do-ha to give to the man. As soon as he received the money, the man ran off without looking back. Kim Do-ha asked, "How can you trust people so easily?" She replied frankly, "I don't trust people. I only trust the words that should be trusted." Since Mok Sol-hee disrupted her mother's schemes and froze her credit cards, her mother went to a place that distributed food to the homeless, pretended to be pitiful, and took a picture to send to Mok Sol-hee. She thought that seeing this picture would make her daughter feel sorry for her and unfreeze her cards. But after being repeatedly deceived, Mok Sol-hee no longer believed her mother's words until she could see her in person and confirm the truth. That evening, her mother went to look for her. Unfortunately, she went to Kim Do-ha's apartment by mistake. Kim Do-ha, composing music in his room, was startled by the doorbell and went to answer it. He opened the door to find Mok Sol-hee's mother holding a piece of paper. She wrote that she had just had surgery on her vocal cords and couldn't speak. Hearing him speak, she realized she had gone to the wrong apartment. Just then, Mok Sol-hee arrived. Seeing this, she tried to pull her mother inside to talk, but her mother refused to enter, afraid to face her. Her mother criticized Mok Sol-hee for ruining their lives with her special ability. She argued that she deserved some of the money Mok Sol-hee earned with that ability. But Mok Sol-hee explained that she had to do what she did because her mother kept scamming people. Seeing that her daughter refused to give her money, her mother turned to leave. Mok Sol-hee then took out the money she had prepared earlier and gave it to her. Her mother gratefully accepted the money. Mok Sol-hee hoped she wouldn't cause any more trouble with it. She stood on the balcony, silently watching her mother leave. She recalled her childhood, when she was just an elementary school student, unable to understand what her mother was doing. One day, she came home from school to find a woman standing in front of their house looking for her mother. It turned out this woman had been scammed by her mother and wanted information to get her money back. She didn't know where her mother was, but she knew where she hid the money she scammed from people. So, she led the woman inside to search. During the search, the woman took the evidence of her mother's scams, along with all of the savings Mok Sol-hee's mother had accumulated. The woman told her she had already discussed this with her mother. But Mok Sol-hee knew the woman was lying and tried to get the money back. The woman pushed her aside and quickly left, disappearing without a trace. Thinking about this, she felt a pang of sadness. At that moment, Kim Do-ha was also on his balcony and saw her there. Mok Sol-hee knew he had overheard their conversation. Kim Do-ha tried to comfort her. "My family is the same. Every family has its problems." They shared a similar fate, both resented by their families. The next day, in the elevator, she returned the money she had borrowed the previous day. It turned out he hadn't scammed her. He even included the interest and principal. Just then, Mok Sol-hee received a phone call informing her of a slight change in the location for a meeting. Hearing the word meeting, Kim Do-ha assumed she was going on a date. In reality, it was her next assignment. A woman had hired her to attend a party with her date to see if he was being truthful. At the party, the man explained to the woman that he'd been too busy lately to see her. Mok Sol-hee, recognizing his lie, discreetly triggered an alarm to alert the woman. At the same time, he was replying to a text message, prompting Mok Sol-hee to ask, "You're not texting a female coworker, are you?" He denied it, but his denial was a blatant lie. The woman then proposed marriage to him. From the start, she knew she met his criteria, which was the basis of their relationship. However, she had gradually fallen in love with him. He received a phone call and excused himself to take it elsewhere. She asked, "Do you love me?" He only smiled and walked away, leaving her in tears. Not wanting to know Mok Sol-hee's identity, she paid her and let her go. Despite knowing the truth, she couldn't bring herself to break up with him, content with the information she had gathered. Facing the heartbroken woman, Mok Sol-hee could only respect her decision. As Mok Sol-hee prepared to leave, the man returned and knelt before the woman, proposing. It turned out he'd been busy preparing for this very proposal and hadn't had time for her. He gave her a memorable proposal, filling her with joy. Mok Sol-hee quietly returned the woman's payment. Mok Sol-hee had once been engaged herself. They had even discussed marriage plans, deeply in love and treating each other with sincerity. However, he later began deceiving her, leading her to initiate the breakup. Knowing his marriage proposal was also a lie, she refused to hear another word. She returned the ring he had given her and left. Back in the present, she wandered the streets, overhearing the lies of those around her. Exhausted by it all, she was drawn to the music emanating from a bar. Mok Sol-hee entered alone, ordered a drink, and hummed along to the music, quickly losing herself in the melody. Coincidentally, the man playing the piano was Kim Do-ha. As she enjoyed the music and her drink, a man recognized her as the person who had ruined his date. After a moment, she realized he was the man who had tried to scam a wealthy older woman, a scheme she had exposed. He still harbored resentment. Slightly intoxicated and unafraid, Mok Sol-hee admitted to ruining his date, declaring, "Because my dating life is a mess, I don't want anyone else to be happy." Just as the man was about to confront her, Kim Do-ha appeared and intervened. Forgetting his mask, he took her hand and led her away. On their way, Kim Do-ha assumed the man was her date, but she denied it. She explained that she'd had a rough day and was simply unwinding with a drink. Noticing her nausea, he rolled down the window, but she began yelling, attracting attention. He struggled to close the window again. She was curious why he would risk revealing his face to help her. At that moment, he realized he'd been maskless the entire time and quickly put one on. In the car, she teased him relentlessly, giving him a slight headache. They arrived at a hangover soup restaurant. She had to coax him into staying and eating with her. To protect his identity, they sat facing the wall, allowing him to comfortably remove his mask to eat. Afterward, he dropped her off at her building, promising to park and join her shortly. As she entered, she spotted two reporters surreptitiously checking mailboxes. When they saw her, they claimed a friend lived in the building but wasn't answering the door. She recognized their lie and realized they were looking for Kim Do-ha. Just then, Kim Do-ha arrived behind them. Thinking fast, she pretended to be his girlfriend, waving dramatically and running towards him, shielding his face from the reporters. After successfully hiding him, Mok Sol-hee turned him around and put a mask on him. Pushing his head down, they scurried towards the elevator, evading the reporters. In the elevator, he realized her actions were meant to protect him. They assumed the reporters would give up, but as they talked outside her door, they heard the reporters' voices again. Startled, he fumbled with his door code. Mok Sol-hee quickly pulled him into her apartment. The atmosphere inside was tense. It was their first time alone together. Embarrassed by her messy apartment, Mok Sol-hee asked him to wait while she quickly tidied up the disaster zone. Checking her security camera, she saw the reporters stubbornly camped outside his door. She told him to stay put. To ease the awkwardness, she grabbed an apple and began peeling it clumsily. Kim Do-ha took over, expertly transforming the apple into a beautiful plate of sliced fruit. They sat eating the apple slices. Kim Do-ha noticed her name, Mok Sol-hee, on a bill. Instinctively, she asked his name. He replied, Kim Seum-do. She knew it was a fake name, but her lie-detecting ability hadn't triggered, making her question her powers. She asked, "Do you never lie?" He responded, "Who doesn't lie?" Just then, as he was about to check on the reporters, Seon called. Seeing their photo together, she recalled his words with Park Moo-jin, further fueling her doubts about her abilities around him. They watched TV together. Unable to resist, she asked his opinion of Seon. His responses felt like lies to her. Suddenly, a commotion erupted outside between the reporters, a deliveryman, and the police. One of the officers was Lee Gang-min, Mok Sol-hee's ex-boyfriend. After the three men were taken away, Lee Gang-min noticed the delivery on the ground and brought it to the correct door. He was surprised to see the name Mok Sol-hee. She opened the door and was shocked to see him. They exchanged pleasantries. Noticing men's shoes inside, he assumed she was married. Mok Sol-hee immediately clarified that she was single. Lee Gang-min had to leave, but before he did, he expressed that he had missed her. Her emotions were in turmoil. Back inside, Kim Do-ha, having overheard everything, offered to explain the situation to Lee Gang-min if they met again. He returned to his apartment, replaying Lee Gang-min's words, feeling a pang of annoyance. The next day, Jo Duk-chan visited Kim Do-ha. He apologized, explaining that Seon had wanted to come and had inadvertently led the reporters there. But Jo Duk-chan wondered why Kim Do-ha hadn't moved this time, given the reporters' presence. It was because Mok Sol-hee had helped him evade them, mistakenly thinking they were creditors. That evening, she ran into him with Jo Duk-chan and greeted them. Kim Do-ha had already introduced her to Jo Duk-chan, so he recognized her immediately. Mok Sol-hee suggested dinner to test her abilities again, but Kim Do-ha declined, preferring not to eat out. He explained that the previous time was an exception due to the restaurant's secluded atmosphere and delicious food. She asked for his contact information, promising to notify him if she found another suitable restaurant. He gave her his number. The following evening, while Mok Sol-hee was cleaning up the restaurant, Lee Gang-min appeared, offering to help. He apologized, admitting he'd wanted to do so for a long time, but they hadn't had the chance to reconnect until now. She reproached him for his change of heart. After proposing, he had moved, changed his number, and disappeared for 3 years. His apology now felt meaningless. He quickly explained that he had been searching for her, finally learning of her new location and requesting a transfer in hopes of seeing her again. He was even more worried to hear she had a new boyfriend. Mok Sol-hee remembered Kim Do-ha's words. Lee Gang-min must have misunderstood the shoes in her apartment. Instead of denying it, she confirmed she had a boyfriend. At that moment, she signaled to Kim Do-ha for help. Understanding her cue, Kim Do-ha appeared, took her hand, and claimed to be her boyfriend. After Lee Gang-min left to be safe, Kim Do-ha walked Mok Sol-hee all the way home. Learning that Lee Gang-min meant no harm, he encouraged her to be brave and explain everything to him. Before leaving, Kim Do-ha returned the tarot card she had dropped earlier. As usual, he went to the bar to play piano. Afterward, the bar owner asked, "You were late today because of Mok Sol-hee, weren't you?" He was surprised the owner knew. The owner had noticed he no longer wore sunglasses while performing since meeting her. He denied she was his girlfriend, but the owner seemed unconvinced. To thank him, the next evening, she invited him to dinner. Unable to resist the tempting food, he happily joined her. Overhearing a nearby couple's conversation filled with lies, she devised a plan. She asked Kim Do-ha to tell her a lie, suggesting he compliment her appearance. When he said, "You are beautiful," she realized he wasn't lying, feeling slightly embarrassed. That plan failed, so she tried another. She asked if he would drink with her, but he declined, having quit long ago. At that moment, Seon, sitting by the ocean, called him. She had learned from Jo Duk-chan that he wanted to stop composing her album and wanted to break her dependence on him. Seon confessed she couldn't sing songs written by anyone else. It wouldn't feel right. She thanked him for all the years of composing for her. Without waiting for a response, she hung up. He tried calling back but couldn't reach her. Panic set in. He called Jo Duk-chan for information about Seon. Learning she was at the beach, he recalled a past trauma, feeling suffocated. He rushed to his car, intending to drive there. Seeing his distress, Mok Sol-hee offered to drive. On the way, he finally admitted his true identity as the composer Kim Do-ha. 10. This time, he drove to meet Seon and asked her not to disclose any information or take photos to avoid rumors. Upon arrival, he saw Seon in the water. He quickly rushed over and pulled her to shore. Because her foot was hurt and she couldn't wear shoes, Kim Do-ha carried her to the car. While Kim Do-ha was calling her manager, Seon noticed Mok Sol-hee was also in the car. She sensed something unusual between them and immediately questioned Kim Do-ha. However, he refused to explain anything at that moment. This only fueled Seon's suspicions. She claimed she didn't want to live anymore. Her words infuriated him. He yelled at her and kicked her out of the car. Seon got out and returned home with her manager. On the way back, Kim Do-ha was so exhausted that he fell asleep. When they arrived home, Mok Sol-hee tried to wake him, but he wouldn't stir. He was trapped in a nightmare, reliving the past. He kept repeating a girl's name. Mok Sol-hee heard him say, "I didn't kill her." Surprisingly, the lie-detecting bell in her head remained silent. His name in school was Seung-do. He was a popular student. He had a deep relationship with a classmate named Choi Eum-jae. But later, for unknown reasons, she died, and he became a suspect in the case. A while later, he woke up feeling extremely tired. He put on a mask and went to his apartment. In the elevator, he became so weak he had to lean against the wall. Mok Sol-hee checked on him and discovered he had a fever, but he ignored her. As soon as the elevator doors opened, he went straight to his apartment. Worried about Kim Do-ha, Mok Sol-hee brought him some fever medication. Seeing the door unlocked, she went inside to check on him. Finding him asleep beside his bed, she was about to leave the medicine and go home. But then she noticed a bottle of sleeping pills on the floor. It turned out he suffered from severe insomnia and needed medication to sleep. Seeing how high his fever was, she couldn't bring herself to leave. She found a cloth and wiped his forehead, trying to bring his temperature down. She struggled to pull him onto the bed so he could rest more comfortably. As his fever seemed to subside, she prepared to leave, but he grabbed her hand. Half asleep, he mistook her for his ex-girlfriend and held on tight. He rested his head on her hand and kept muttering apologies. Seeing him like this, she decided to let him hold her hand for 10 more minutes before gently pulling it away. But Mok Sol-hee ended up falling asleep in his apartment until morning. He was still lying beside her when she woke up with a start. She quickly pulled her hand away and tried to leave quietly. However, she accidentally fell back onto the bed, waking Kim Do-ha. Seeing her there, he coldly left the room. Mok Sol-hee tried to explain, but he refused to listen. He said, "From now on, pretend I'm invisible. Don't concern yourself with me anymore." She agreed and returned home. After she left, he went back to his room and saw the medicine and wet cloth she had left, feeling a touch of gratitude. Seon went to Jo Duk-chan and demanded he quickly move Kim Do-ha to a new house or find him a hotel. She was worried about the unusual relationship between him and Mok Sol-hee. She threatened him, "If you don't, I'll come here looking for him every day. Then this little neighborhood will be swarming with reporters." Her unreasonable behavior annoyed Jo Duk-chan, and he yelled at her. He advised, "If you keep pestering Kim Do-ha, you'll only make things worse between you two. He can't forget his painful past." Jo Duk-chan's younger brother learned about his secret with his ex-girlfriend and how he hid his identity, avoiding revealing his address and always wearing a mask in public. He used this opportunity to extort money from Kim Do-ha. As usual, he went to the bar that night to perform. But while playing the piano, his hands suddenly trembled, ruining the performance. Afterward, he sat alone drinking. The bar owner, concerned, approached him. Kim Do-ha asked the owner if he could stay there for a few days, and the owner readily agreed. Lee Gang-min, having just finished an assignment, was waiting for his colleagues when he saw Mok Sol-hee returning home. Worried she might misunderstand, he explained he was on duty in the area. They exchanged brief greetings. As they were talking, a car sped towards her. Luckily, Lee Gang-min reacted quickly and pulled her out of the way. She then hurried home. The next day, Kim Do-ha went to the doctor to ask for medication because he hadn't been able to sleep for several days, compounded by his trembling hands during his piano performance. The doctor encouraged him to share his thoughts so he could offer solutions. However, Kim Do-ha refused to talk to anyone about it. Just as he was leaving the clinic, he bumped into a woman, dropping his bag of medication. he saw Choi Eom-jae standing there, smiling at him. But when he looked closer, it was just a stranger. He picked up his medication and walked away coldly. While Kim Do-ha was in hiding, a man wearing a black mask impersonated him in a video accusing J Entertainment of hiring ghostwriters and making plagiarism a habit. The video went viral, and everyone believed it was Kim Do-ha. Only Jo Duk-chan knew it wasn't him, but no one believed him. Kim Do-ha would have to show his face to clear his name. In reality, the plagiarist was composer Park Moo-jin. He abused his position as director and treated everyone with contempt. After seeing the news, he suspected one of his subordinates was responsible and asked Mok Sol-hee to identify the liar. He recorded his interrogation of the subordinates and brought the recordings to her. Unfortunately, she could only detect lies by listening to people speak directly. Because of the previous incident, Mok Sol-hee had blacklisted him and refused to take his case. Worried about Kim Do-ha, Jo Duk-chan went to see Mok Sol-hee after the incident. He wanted to know what had happened with him the night Seon was at the beach, as he seemed very distressed. She asked him why he always wore a mask in public. He simply said he had gone through something that left him deeply troubled. Knowing they were close, Jo Duk-chan asked her to let him know if she saw Kim Do-ha. After returning home, she immediately started thinking of places he might be and went to the bar to look for him. Seeing a different man playing the piano on stage, she felt disappointed. The bar owner approached her and said Kim Do-ha would appear after closing time, suggesting she wait. Sure enough, after all the customers left, she saw him. He was startled to see her and accidentally dropped something he was holding, shattering it on the floor. Mok Sol-hee rushed to stop him from picking up the broken glass with his hands, reminding him that as a pianist, he needed to protect them. She told him she came because the rumors about him were affecting her. Kim Do-ha, having turned off his phone, was unaware of the situation at the company and didn't understand what she was talking about. Someone impersonating him had posted a video damaging to his company. That's why she came looking for him. But Kim Do-ha still wanted to hide, telling her the company was surely handling it. His apparent indifference angered her. She scolded him. "Why aren't you taking responsibility for your work?" Mok Sol-hee absolutely believed he wasn't a plagiarist. She urged him to stand up and defend his musical career. Her words seemed to finally get through to him. The next morning, he drove to an old building. As he was about to enter, a man appeared from behind and asked who he was. The man started to ask, "Are you Kim Do-ha?" but then ran off. Kim Do-ha quickly chased him through the narrow alleys. During the chase, a ball rolled out, and he kicked it at the man, causing him to fall to his knees and apologize. After realizing he was the real Kim Do-ha, the man led him to a room in his basement. It turned out that after being encouraged by Mok Sol-hee, Kim Do-ha watched the posted video and noticed a symbol on the piano, which led him here. The man hadn't wanted to target him specifically, but because he was such a mysterious, masked musician, he used his name to expose the plagiarism. It had certainly gotten a lot of attention. Recognizing his mistake, the man agreed to delete the post and issue an apology. Meanwhile, everyone was in a meeting discussing how to handle the situation when the Kim Do-ha impersonator arrived, apologized, and confessed. At the same time, the real Kim Do-ha appeared as well, ready to do whatever he could to help the company resolve the issue. Park Moo-jin was also at the meeting but refused to admit to the plagiarism. He criticized Kim Do-ha for hiding his face, implying he had something to hide. Hearing this, Kim Do-ha was ready to reveal himself. But as he reached for his mask, Jo Duk-chan rushed forward to stop him and pulled him out of the meeting. It turned out Jo Duk-chan had known about the plagiarism for a long time but hadn't found a way to deal with it yet. However, after this incident, he was determined to make Park Moo-jin pay. Kim Do-ha demanded a written apology and compensation for the damages. After the plagiarism issue was resolved, Park Moo-jin received his due punishment. As Kim Do-ha was about to leave, Seon arrived. Jo Duk-chan left them to talk. He told her he had no romantic feelings for her. He only liked her as a fan and as his friend's younger sister. Having said what he needed to say, he quickly left. After this incident, Kim Do-ha completely changed. He stopped hiding and proactively invited Mok Sol-hee to his performance that evening. During the performance, he saw her in the audience and removed his mask, facing everyone. Thanks to her, he had gained the confidence to stand before the crowd. After the performance, he waited for her in his car and took her out to dinner to thank her. He told her that her words had given him the confidence to face the public and live a normal life without hiding. Despite being able to remove his mask, Kim Do-ha remained sensitive to those around him. He always felt like someone was staring at him. If someone approached, he would flinch and cover his face with a napkin. Seeing this, Mok Sol-hee took him to a dessert shop after dinner. There, he didn't feel watched and could relax without worrying about the surrounding tables. He could gradually get used to being around people. They enjoyed drinks and conversation. But after a while, she became tipsy and asked, "Why did you push me away and run off back then? Was it because of your girlfriend, Seon?" She had seen a picture of them together with a heart symbol when Seon called him, but he denied any romantic involvement. It turned out that Seon had simply misunderstood. Hearing his explanation, she realized Seon's feelings were one-sided. Mok Sol-hee became so drunk she didn't realize what she was saying. Kim Do-ha saw her wanting to eat shrimp and peeled them for her. Watching his hands, she complimented them. Kim Do-ha peeled 2 shrimp and arranged them on her plate in the shape of a heart. She picked up the shrimp, looked at him, and then slumped over the table. Seeing this, Kim Do-ha took her home. In a hazy, half-awake state, she saw Kim Do-ha undressing her. Then, he took off his own shirt. Waking up in the morning, she found herself in her own bed, her coat neatly folded on a chair. She vaguely remembered, while drunk, accidentally falling onto a plate of food on the table. On the way home, while he carried her on his back, she kept demanding ice cream. So, he bought her a cone of her favorite flavor. Like a child given candy, she happily ate her ice cream. Suddenly, she asked Kim Do-ha, "You like me, don't you?" Taken aback, Kim Do-ha didn't answer. After she finished, he carried her home and put her to bed. Seeing her clothes stained with food, he helped her take them off. He noticed his own shirt was also dirty, so he took it off to inspect it. At that point, she stirred awake, mistook him for a pervert, and slapped him. Before he could understand what was happening, she fell back asleep. Remembering everything now, she was incredibly embarrassed. Kim Do-ha came to her apartment with hangover soup for Mok Sol-hee. He also reminded her to change her door code, as he had inadvertently learned it while bringing her home. To thank him for his help, she washed his shirt. After this incident, their relationship gradually became closer. Kim Do-ha happened to see a soccer game advertised on TV. Remembering that she'd mentioned wanting to watch the game at a bar the previous night, he decided to invite Mok Sol-hee to go with him. Just then, she arrived to return his clean shirt. Kim Do-ha invited her to watch the match at a bar with a big screen. She happily accepted. Kim Do-ha, having just taken out the trash, was heading back inside when he ran into Jo Duk-chan's younger brother. As usual, he was there to demand money. This time, however, Kim Do-ha refused. He pointed out that if Jo Duk-chan's brother exposed Kim Do-ha's past as a musician who had committed manslaughter, his own brother's company would also collapse. Without waiting for a response, he went back inside. Jo Duk-chan was driving when something suddenly darted out, startling him. After checking, he found nothing there. Back in his car, Jo Duk-chan was startled again by a man's voice from the back seat. It was Choi Eom-jae's older brother. He was there to inquire about Kim Do-ha's past. Jo Duk-chan's demeanor gave him the answer he sought. Having learned what he wanted, he left immediately. Lee Gang-min was on his way to the Taro Cafe when he saw Mok Sol-hee standing in front, looking at him with a happy expression. Happy memories of their time together flooded back. At that moment, Kim Do-ha arrived with pastries for her. Seeing her joyful expression, he left, reassured. That evening, she dressed in a pretty pink outfit to go out with him. Seeing him waiting for her, dressed in a suit that complemented her outfit, she felt a flutter of attraction. She explained that she was dressed up because of an unexpected event. He, in turn, confessed he had dressed up to impress her. His words made her blush. However, due to the importance of the game, most bars were packed. Without a reservation, they couldn't find a single open table. After searching for a while, their persistence paid off. They finally found a spot at a bar owned by someone in their neighborhood. Throughout the exciting match, there were moments of shared celebration. They cheered together, their hands instinctively clasping. Afterwards, they awkwardly separated. The roar of the crowd continued in the lively atmosphere of the bar. Kim Do-ha and Mok Sol-hee raised their glasses and drank their beers together. The next day, Mok Sol-hee unexpectedly appeared as a referee at a tennis match. The client, a worried daughter, had hired her to observe her father's match, suspecting he was being scammed by a woman. To her surprise, the woman in question was her own mother. Mok Sol-hee's mother was equally shocked to see her there. After the match, the daughter signaled to Mok Sol-hee that she could begin her questioning. Knowing her mother was supposedly widowed, the daughter asked about her father's date of death to avoid scheduling trips around that time. As her mother answered, Mok Sol-hee realized she was lying. Her mother pulled her aside, begging her to turn a blind eye and promising to forgive past transgressions. But Mok Sol-hee knew she was still lying. Just then, the client and her family approached. The daughter asked her mother directly if she truly loved her father. The mother insisted she did. Standing behind them, Mok Sol-hee recognized the lie. She then chose to tell the daughter the truth. The daughter wasn't entirely surprised. This wasn't the first time someone had tried to take advantage of her wealthy father. The daughter admired Mok Sol-hee's ability, envying her immunity to deception. That evening, while Mok Sol-hee sat lost in thought at the cafe, her mother stormed in, furious, in the pouring rain. She trashed the cafe, blaming all her life's hardships on Mok Sol-hee's power. Mok Sol-hee endured the onslaught, helpless against her mother's rage. She'd known the client had suspicions. Her mother's deception was bound to be discovered. Seeing the downpour, Kim Do-ha brought an umbrella to the cafe. Arriving to find the place in disarray, he rushed inside, fearing something had happened to Mok Sol-hee. He overheard their argument. Seeing him, her mother berated Mok Sol-hee. "After what you did to me, you have the nerve to be here romancing." She then bluntly told Kim Do-ha that Mok Sol-hee was a shaman. Unable to bear it any longer, Mok Sol-hee stopped her mother. After her mother left, Mok Sol-hee felt deeply humiliated in front of Kim Do-ha. She didn't want him to see her like this and left the cafe into the rain. He chased after her with the umbrella, but she tossed it aside. They stood together in the rain as she confessed her ability to detect lies. This power, she explained, prevented her from living a normal life, from being with someone she cared about. But Kim Do-ha, she admitted, had always been truthful, and that's why she had feelings for him. Immediately after confessing, she regretted revealing so much. The next morning, she went to the cafe to clean up the mess her mother had made. As she cleaned, she recalled her mother's childhood warnings: never reveal her ability, or her friends would abandon her. To her surprise, Kim Do-ha arrived to help. Instead of fear, he expressed wonder at her ability, understanding now why she sometimes reacted strangely to people's words. After cleaning, Kim Do-ha offered to buy her something tasty, but she declined. Wanting to thank him for his help, she insisted on treating him. On their way, they passed a bakery with a long line. She was curious but hesitant, worried that becoming closer as neighbors might complicate things. Kim Do-ha, having tried the bakery before and knowing it was delicious, took her hand and led her towards the line. After waiting, it was their turn to choose pastries. Just then, a woman approached, wanting to return pastries she'd bought the day before because one contained a bug. She presented a photo as proof. The other customers immediately left. The owner had no choice but to refund her money. After leaving the bakery, Mok Sol-hee felt a strange sensation. Neither of them had lied. Kim Do-ha, curious, asked, "Do you always hear things like that?" Flustered, Mok Sol-hee deflected the question and quickly changed the subject. They ended up at an outdoor restaurant, where they unexpectedly ran into Lee Gang-min dining with a colleague. Noticing her discomfort at seeing her ex, Kim Do-ha offered to go elsewhere, but Mok Sol-hee declined. While eating, she overheard Lee Gang-min's colleague ask about his injured arm, causing her to glance at it. Sensing her distraction, Kim Do-ha engaged her in conversation, suggesting they do something together that weekend if she was free. Overhearing this, Lee Gang-min, feeling a surge of jealousy, told his colleague, "If they're not married, I'm not giving up." Kim Do-ha, realizing Lee Gang-min was referring to Mok Sol-hee, felt a pang of displeasure. Mok Sol-hee, while reaching for food, accidentally knocked over a glass of water. spilling it on Kim Do-ha. He quickly fetched napkins from a server. Lee Gang-min's colleague, sensing the awkwardness, excused himself. Seizing the opportunity, Lee Gang-min asked Mok Sol-hee, "Are you two really together? Kim Do-ha doesn't even know you can't eat eggplant." Pointing out that they didn't seem like a couple, he prompted a confession from Mok Sol-hee that Kim Do-ha was pretending to be her boyfriend. Just then, Lee Gang-min's colleague returned, and they left. When Kim Do-ha returned, he noticed her downcast expression and sensed something had transpired. Mok Sol-hee explained that Lee Gang-min had realized their charade because he'd ordered eggplant, which she couldn't eat. Kim Do-ha responded, "What else can't you eat? I'll make sure to remember everything." His words surprised her. Following the incident, the bakery was quieter than usual. Kim Do-ha went to buy the pastry the owner had previously recommended. As he was leaving, a strange man entered, conspicuously picking up the same type of pastry that had previously contained the bug, feigning indecision about buying it. It was clear he was there to cause trouble. Kim Do-ha, in a surprising display of generosity, bought all the remaining pastries of that type, leaving everyone stunned. Now, with an armful of pastries, he wondered how he would possibly eat them all. That evening, Mok Sol-hee, alone at home, pondered Kim Do-ha's behavior towards her. She accidentally spilled beer on her blanket and, having no choice, took it to the laundromat. The bulky blanket obstructed her view, causing her to trip on the steps. Luckily, Kim Do-ha appeared just in time to catch her. They found themselves in an awkward embrace, buffered by the blanket. While waiting for the blanket to wash, they sat and talked, only to witness the bakery owner collapse outside the laundromat. The recent downturn in his business had taken a toll on him. Finding it difficult to hail a cab there, Kim Do-ha went to the main road to find one. While waiting, the bakery owner offered Mok Sol-hee a pastry. Before she could refuse, assuming she wouldn't want it, he ate it himself. The taxi arrived, and he left. Seeing the bakery owner's distress, Mok Sol-hee resolved to help uncover the truth behind the incidents. The next day, a peculiar man visited the Tarot Cafe, claiming to be a recently returned student looking for business advice. At the same time, the real estate company owner arrived, looking for his wife. They were both surprised to see each other there. When asked if they knew each other, they both denied it. Only Mok Sol-hee knew they were lying. After the real estate owner left, the other man stepped outside to take a phone call. Kim Do-ha recognized him as the man from the bakery. He had known about the bug in the pastry, but had still chosen to buy more. This led them to believe he was definitely involved in the bakery's troubles. Right after, the two of them went to the landlord's real estate office and expressed their interest in buying the bakery. The landlord said, "Are you two trying to take advantage of the bakery's current predicament and buy it at a low price?" But Mok Sol-hee immediately recognized it as a lie. Mid-conversation, the landlord received a phone call and stepped outside to answer it. Kim Do-ha accidentally saw the landlord's computer screen, which displayed the avatar of the person who had posted the picture of the bug-infested pastry online. Afterwards, they went to the bakery and found the baker sitting dejectedly on the floor. Mok Sol-hee told him what she had seen. Immediately, the baker went to the real estate office and declared his intention to keep the bakery. This pleased the landlords. Taking advantage of a moment of distraction, Kim Do-ha snatched the landlord's phone and used facial recognition to unlock it. The landlord's wife tried to grab the phone back, but he pushed her away. He quickly checked social media and confirmed that the landlord was indeed the one who had posted about the bug in the pastry. Just then, a strange man appeared. It turned out he was the landlord's son. The landlord had used this malicious scheme to sabotage the bakery to help his son start his own business. Hearing this, Kim Do-ha grabbed a bag of flour and started throwing it at them in anger, covering everyone in white powder. Even a bowl of noodles got dusted with flour. That evening, the baker invited the two of them to a party, grateful that they had helped him uncover the truth. While listening to the music playing in the bakery, everyone commented on the songs on the music charts. They expressed their admiration for Kim Do-ha's songwriting abilities. Hearing this, he and Mok Sol-hee couldn't help but laugh. He decided to reveal the truth to everyone. "My real name is Kim Do-ha." But everyone just thought he was joking and didn't pay much attention. The important thing was that they enjoyed his company, regardless of what they called him. That night, he enjoyed some beers with everyone. Mok Sol-hee and Kim Do-ha joked around comfortably. He felt genuinely happy being around everyone, a feeling he hadn't experienced since arriving. On the way home, he told Mok Sol-hee, "Calling me Mr. Kim Do-ha feels a bit distant, don't you think?" He asked her to just call him by his name. Just then, he noticed a convenience store and asked her to wait for him. He bought 2 ice cream bars in her favorite flavor. Mok Sol-hee felt envious of any girl who would date such an honest man. He then asked her curiously, "You once heard me tell a lie. What did I say?" She cheerfully replied, "Since you were talking in your sleep, I don't think it counts as a lie." It turned out that while she was waiting for him to return after searching for Seon, she had heard him mumble, "I didn't kill her." Hearing her words, he froze, watching her walk away. While searching for Kim Do-ha's residence, Seon spotted someone who resembled him and got out of her car to follow. But it wasn't Kim Do-ha. The surrounding people recognized her as Seon and wanted to take pictures with her. Fortunately, Mok Sol-hee's bodyguard, Baek Kai-hoon, appeared just in time to rescue her. Because the area where she had parked was now crowded, he led her to a tarot cafe. She was surprised to see Mok Sol-hee there. After everyone else left, only Mok Sol-hee and Seon remained in the room. Seon suggested that Mok Sol-hee move and cut off contact with Kim Do-ha, but she refused. Seon told her not to interfere in her and Kim Do-ha's relationship. She could give up everything, but she couldn't live without him. Mok Sol-hee confessed to Seon, "I think I have feelings for him." As she was about to leave, Seon grabbed her hand and pleaded with her. It turned out that to get Kim Do-ha's attention, Seon had dug up the most painful events of his past, because that was his weakness. She did it hoping that Kim Do-ha would look back at her and that Mok Sol-hee would leave him. Seon told her, "Kim Do-ha's secret is, he killed someone." Kim Do-ha was sitting at home lost in thought when his mother called, saying she had something urgent to discuss and wanted to meet him. Upon meeting Kim Do-ha, his mother told him to stop composing music and move to Germany for a while. Hearing this, he finally snapped, unable to tolerate her actions any longer. Ultimately, she just didn't want to see a murderer like him around, hindering her work. But this time, Kim Do-ha couldn't obey his mother's orders. He had more important matters to attend to and couldn't leave. After leaving his mother's car, he went to the tarot cafe to find Mok Sol-hee. They both had things they wanted to say to each other. From Seon, she had learned that he had supposedly killed someone. Kim Do-ha didn't deny it, but frankly admitted that he had been a murder suspect, though not the culprit. She wanted to believe him, but at that moment, the lie-detecting alarm bells in her head went off. Before Mok Sol-hee could process this, Jo Duk-chan rushed in, looking flustered, and whisked Kim Do-ha away. Back at home, Jo Duk-chan told him that Seon was the one who had told Mok Sol-hee about the murder accusation. He worried that Mok Sol-hee would reveal the secret, but Kim Do-ha believed she wasn't the type to gossip. Jo Duk-chan urged him to leave immediately, but he refused. Even if Seon hadn't said anything, he had planned to tell Mok Sol-hee, so there was nothing left to hide. He also admitted that he had developed feelings for Mok Sol-hee, despite not knowing her for very long. Kim Do-ha sat alone in his room, thinking about Choi Eom-jai's death. Memories of the day she died flooded back, leaving him exhausted and unsure of what to do. After returning home, Mok Sol-hee wanted to trust Kim Do-ha more than her ability. Driven by curiosity, she started searching for information about the case online. The information she found indicated that Kim Do-ha had initially confessed to killing Choi Eom-jai, but later retracted his confession. This left her confused and uncertain. A while later, Kim Do-ha called, but she didn't dare answer. She spent the entire night sleepless, consumed by thoughts of the case. The next evening, he went to her workplace to apologize for not telling her the truth. While he was fumbling for the right words, her phone rang. She hurriedly silenced it, revealing Kim Do-ha's picture on the screen. Flustered, she tried to turn off the phone, but accidentally spilled hot tea on his hand. Mok Sol-hee quickly led him to the sink to cool the burn, then rushed to get ice for it. Mok Sol-hee explained that she had looked up the case online out of curiosity. Kim Do-ha didn't blame her, understanding that anyone would have done the same. He then asked, "Did what I told you yesterday sound like a lie?" She dismissed it as having misheard him and asked him to repeat it. But the moment he spoke, the warning bells rang again, loud and clear, making it impossible for her to accept his words. She dropped the ice pack. It was perhaps the worst lie she had ever heard. She was momentarily speechless. Kim Do-ha simply left, leaving her in a state of turmoil. In the middle of the night, she went to the place where they had eaten together. His image kept flashing through her mind. Do-ha stood on his balcony, looking at his phone. He noticed it was late, and she still hadn't returned. She was slightly drunk. Calling Kim Do-ha in her drunken state, she said, "I had shrimp today, but it didn't taste good at all." He wanted to go to the restaurant to find her, but she refused, afraid of facing him directly, and asked to talk on the phone instead. On her way home, Mok Sol-hee saw a couple arguing. Under the influence of alcohol, she couldn't resist intervening in their quarrel. As the man raised his voice at her, Kim Do-ha suddenly appeared. After the couple left, he drove her home. Before going inside, Mok Sol-hee invited him to have a meal together the next day, but he kept bringing up the incident, making her uncomfortable. She went inside. Kim Do-ha didn't go home, but instead went to his old house. The next day, Mok Sol-hee went to the hospital for an assignment and ran into Lee Gang-min. She pretended to be a relative to inquire about his condition with the nurse. It turned out he had stage 3 cancer, but had never told her. Mok Sol-hee intended to visit him, but received a call from a client and had to leave. This time, her assignment was to pose as an elderly man's secretary to verify the truthfulness of his family and doctor's words. The man wanted to know about his condition, but his family and doctor kept reassuring him that he would recover quickly after surgery. After his family left, Mok Sol-hee told the man that they were lying. In reality, he already understood their reasons. He didn't want his family to worry, so he decided to continue playing the role of the optimistic patient. After finishing her assignment, she was about to leave when she ran into Lee Gang-min again. He hid his condition, claiming he was only there to visit an acquaintance. He invited her to dinner the following evening. She didn't refuse but readily agreed, making him happy. After the conversation with the old man, she decided to keep his secret and accepted Lee Gang-min's dinner invitation. Later, Mok Sol-hee went to the entertainment agency to meet Jo Duk-chan. It turned out he wanted her to sign a non-disclosure agreement regarding Kim Do-ha, which included a penalty clause. She asked him to remove it, fearing Kim Do-ha would misunderstand. Before leaving, she asked if he knew Kim Do-ha's whereabouts and whether he would return. Jo Duk-chan told her that Kim Do-ha was about to go to Germany and might not come back. But she detected lies in his words. After she left, he anxiously called Kim Do-ha to ask his location. Upon learning he had returned to his old house, Jo Duk-chan became extremely worried. He then told Kim Do-ha that Choi Eom-ho had been looking for him. If this got out, it would also affect the company. He wanted Kim Do-ha to go abroad for a while for the sake of the company and his mother. His mother was running for office. She worried that if it was revealed she had a son who was a suspected murderer, it would undoubtedly impact her political career. Therefore, she had asked Jo Duk-chan to persuade Kim Do-ha to leave. Hearing this, Kim Do-ha felt saddened. He didn't want to hide anymore and told Jo Duk-chan to tell Choi Eom-ho to meet him if he asked again. After Jo Duk-chan left, he sat alone in his room, recalling how Choi Eom-ho had once wanted to kill him but ultimately couldn't. As he was leaving, Choi Eom-ho had slashed his shoulder, leaving a scar on his back that remained to this day. Meanwhile, Choi Eom-ho impersonated Kim Do-ha, leaving a letter for his mother and inviting her to meet. She suspected nothing, believing it was from Kim Do-ha, and hurried to the restaurant. Observing from afar, Choi Eom-ho confirmed upon seeing her arrive that Kim Do-ha was indeed the Seum-do from the past. As planned, Mok Sol-hee had dinner with Lee Gang-min the following evening. She wondered why he liked her despite her family's situation. He frankly replied, "Because no matter what your family is like, you are kind. And there are very few girls as kind and beautiful as you." Unable to hide it any longer, she asked him about his health. he knew he couldn't conceal it anymore and admitted to having stage 3 cancer. He had discovered his illness while they were still dating, but he hadn't told her because he didn't want to upset her. Now that she knew and was struggling to cope, he explained how much harder it would have been to tell her back then. After dinner, they sat and talked in the park. He still wondered about her last words before they broke up. It turned out she had also heard a lie without knowing the reason, leading to their misunderstanding and eventual breakup. Lee Gang-min suggested they get back together, but her thoughts were consumed by Kim Do-ha. He sensed her feelings for Kim Do-ha. After driving her home, he encouraged her to confess her feelings to him. Despite his own feelings, he urged her to pursue her love. Encouraged by Lee Gang-min's words, she drove to Kim Do-ha's apartment building. Not knowing his apartment number, she asked the security guard for Kim Do-ha's unit number. At that moment, she overheard Choi Eom-ho's voice. At the same time, another security guard approached and asked Choi Eom-ho who he was. He claimed to be a new guard assigned there. She sensed he was lying, becoming wary and backing her car away. He seemed to recognize her as the girl who pretended to be his girlfriend on the bus years ago. Her phone was dead, so he couldn't reach her. He remembered Choi Eom-ho encountering her on the bus and misunderstanding their relationship. Worried for her safety, he immediately went downstairs to look for her. He saw the security guard and called out to him, but luckily, Mok Sol-hee appeared just in time, pulling him into some nearby bushes. They started to run. Choi Eom-ho, hidden around a corner, was slowly approaching. At the brink of being discovered, they held hands tightly. Fortunately, another security guard called him away. As he left, they both breathed a sigh of relief. Kim Do-ha scolded her for not listening to him and leaving. But she didn't want to leave him in danger, so she came back. Kim Do-ha told her to listen to him and he would explain everything. But Mok Sol-hee refused, as she fully believed he was innocent. After they safely returned home, she guessed the man was Choi Eom-jae's brother. He began to tell her about his first love years ago. They had been in love and known each other for a long time. But when they went to college, she lost trust in him. Gradually, she developed anxiety and didn't want a long-distance relationship. They frequently argued about this. One day, he couldn't bear her behavior anymore and broke up with her. But Choi Eom-jae saw him as her dream. When he broke up with her, she assumed he had found someone else. She started to self-harm. He didn't want to explain and turned to leave. In that moment, Choi Eom-jae picked up a shard of glass and slit her wrist. Kim Do-ha rushed to stop her, using his shirt to bandage the wound. She became frantic, demanding to know who the other girl was, even grabbing his phone to check. Seeing this, he took his shirt and phone and turned to leave, ignoring her pleas. She said she would die without him. He thought she was just being dramatic. Angrily, Kim Do-ha said, "If you want to die, then die." Then he turned and walked away, leaving her heartbroken and collapsing to the ground. He desperately wanted to go back, but knew if he did, everything would repeat itself. One day, after school, he was taken to the police station for questioning. Initially, he believed he was responsible for her death, so he confessed. Kim Do-ha's mother arrived, telling him not to confess as she was entering politics. But even now, her body hadn't been found. Therefore, legally, Kim Do-ha couldn't be definitively declared the culprit. However, he still felt guilty about Choi Eom-jae. If he hadn't said those words that night, perhaps things would have turned out differently. Hearing his story, Mok Sol-hee finally understood why what he said sounded like a lie. Although he didn't kill anyone, the guilt made him feel like the true murderer. At that moment, Mok Sol-hee completely believed that Kim Do-ha didn't kill Choi Eom-jae. Kim Do-ha, remembering the painful event, started to cry. Seeing him like this, she went to him and hugged him to comfort him. A while later, when Kim Do-ha calmed down, he realized Choi Eom-ho might recognize her and became worried. She then remembered the bus ride years ago when she saved him. He had recognized her from their first encounter, but because he didn't want anyone to know his identity, he hadn't told her. For Kim Do-ha's safety, Mok Sol-hee suggested he move back next door to her to avoid Choi Eom-ho. As she was about to leave, Kim Do-ha pulled her hand and sat her down next to him. Worried that Choi Eom-ho might still be around, Kim Do-ha told her to stay the night for safety. He led her to his bedroom to sleep. while he would sleep on the sofa. At the same time, he fetched her some comfortable clothes to sleep in, which happened to be his favorite team's jersey. Suddenly, he wished her good night, making her feel a bit shy. He then returned to the living room sofa to rest. It was Mok Sol-hee's first time sleeping in his apartment, and she felt too awkward to fall asleep. She texted Kim Do-ha. He invited her to watch a Spanish soccer game with him, but she was feeling a bit hungry. Hearing this, he cheerfully offered to cook for her. He seemed genuinely happy. He then led her to a room with a large projector to watch the game, surprising her. The room was like a private cinema with a huge screen. She initially became a soccer fan because of her father. Later, she realized that in the world of soccer, there were no lies, only belief in what you see. That was just like Kim Do-ha. He never lied. This gave Mok Sol-hee a deep sense of security. Hearing her express such trust in him, he smiled at her. In this comfortable atmosphere, they ate ramen and talked about soccer all night. After failing to catch Kim Do-ha, Choi Eom-ho went to eat. Recalling the security guard's words, he realized he hadn't been home in a long time. This further solidified his belief that Kim Do-ha was Seom-do. He held Choi Eom-jae's picture and promised her he would catch Kim Do-ha. The next morning, Mok Sol-hee's mother went to her house, but no one answered the door. Her phone was also off, so her mother went to her cafe to look for her. But she hadn't gone to work that day. That morning, she woke up and saw him sleeping. He looked handsome. She couldn't resist touching his hair. As she was about to leave, she accidentally stepped on the remote, falling onto him and waking him up. Seeing a camping scene on TV, she expressed a desire to go camping. It was a kind of relaxation she had always wanted to try. To her surprise, he immediately took her to a wilderness area to camp. While she was worried about not having any camping gear, he had already prepared everything and brought it along. They spent the day setting up camp, tiring them both out. As night fell, they sat together, grilling meat under the romantic glow of the campfire. He picked up a piece of meat, blew on it to cool it down, and fed it to her. Suddenly, she felt like trusting him more than trusting her own hands for the past 27 years. After dinner, they sat together in the tent, talking about her abilities. Mok Sol-hee had told her clients not to trust promises or oaths too much, but to strive for the most accurate answers. For example, "The person I like most right now is you." Hearing this, he confidently told her, "The person I like most right now is you." Before she could react, he kissed her. Mok Sol-hee felt his sincerity and quickly kissed him back. Under the night sky, they confirmed their feelings for each other. After returning to the apartment, Mok Sol-hee, still feeling affectionate, kissed him lightly on the cheek. Then they both went inside. Meanwhile, Mok Sol-hee was still searching for Kim Do-ha's whereabouts through reporters. She learned that Seon might know where he was. Saddened by Kim Do-ha's words, Seon went to a bar alone to drown her sorrows. She started to sing, unaware that she was being watched. As she was escorted to the parking lot, Seon was captured by Choi Eom-ho. He wanted her to call Kim Do-ha and tell him to come, but she refused. Seon wanted to do something to make Kim Do-ha happy, but Choi Eom-ho used her fingerprint to unlock her phone. At that moment, Kim Do-ha was sleeping on the sofa when he suddenly received a call from Seon. He had a bad feeling and answered. Hearing Choi Eom-ho's voice, he asked, "Choi Eom-ho, where are you?" After hanging up, he immediately went to the appointed location without informing Mok Sol-hee. Seeing him, Choi Eom-ho, remembering his sister's death, couldn't control his emotions. Kim Do-ha looked just like he did back then. He punched Kim Do-ha repeatedly, knocking him to the ground. Choi Eom-ho wanted to tear him apart and throw him into the ocean, so his mother would search for him endlessly, just like he had searched hopelessly for his sister. Kim Do-ha finally explained that he hadn't killed her. Choi Eom-ho found this laughable. It was because Kim Do-ha had once been Lee Young-yee's dream that he had asked Kim Do-ha to try and hold on to her. Choi Eom-ho released him and started to listen. Kim Do-ha felt he would live with regret for the rest of his life because of the words he had spoken that day. What he said stunned Choi Eom-ho. As Kim Do-ha turned to leave, Choi Eom-ho pulled out a knife and advanced towards him. Kim Do-ha, frozen, could only watch as he lunged. At that critical moment, Lee Gang-min appeared, surprisingly saving him. It turned out Lee Gang-min had been on the lookout for the culprit. His colleague had opened the news article about Choi Eom-jae's case. The case was famous because the suspect was a student with a fan following. Lee Gang-min saw the suspect's picture and recognized Kim Do-ha. He tried to call Mok Sol-hee but couldn't reach her. Having noticed Kim Do-ha's recent closeness with Mok Sol-hee, he became worried about her and waited near her apartment. Lee Gang-min saw Kim Do-ha hurriedly driving off and immediately followed, observing from a distance. He only intervened when Mok Sol-hee tried to kill Kim Do-ha. Choi Eom-ho recognized Lee Gang-min as one of the officers who investigated Choi Eom-jae's case. Lee Gang-min wanted to take them both to the station, but Kim Do-ha said it wasn't necessary. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Choi Eom-ho fled, and Lee Gang-min chased after him. Seeing that Lee Gang-min was about to catch Choi Eom-ho, Kim Do-ha jumped in to stop him. By the time he reacted, Choi Eom-ho had escaped. Lee Gang-min asked him, "Does Mok Sol-hee know about this?" She not only knew, but also believed he wasn't the murderer. Lee Gang-min warned him that if anything happened to Mok Sol-hee, he would be the one to kill him, not Choi Eom-ho. Before leaving, Lee Gang-min told him not to let Mok Sol-hee see the injuries on his face. But Kim Do-ha couldn't hide anything. Even now, Lee Gang-min didn't believe she had the ability to detect lies. Kim Do-ha told Lee Gang-min that he would make Mok Sol-hee happy in his own way. After leaving, Choi Eom-ho couldn't understand why Kim Do-ha had done that for him. Distraught, he walked down the street, remembering the words he had said to Choi Eom-jae. It turned out she had also planned to go to college with him and had worked hard to save money. But her gambling father had taken the money, leaving her heartbroken. The next morning, while sleeping, he heard the doorbell. He found Mok Sol-hee at the door. Afraid she would see his injuries and worry, he put on a mask before seeing her. Kim Do-ha intended to speak with her briefly and then go back inside, but she had missed him all night and hadn't been able to sleep, wanting to see his face. Having no other choice, Kim Do-ha removed his mask, revealing his injuries. Seeing him hurt like that, she felt a pang of distress. He hadn't called the police, yet they had still come. Hearing this, she immediately knew it was Lee Gang-min. Although he wasn't arrested, after explaining everything, it seemed Lee Gang-min wouldn't bother him anymore. After the previous night's incident, Lee Gang-min, still worried about Mok Sol-hee, went to the Tarot Cafe to talk to her. Mok Sol-hee was grateful that he had saved Kim Do-ha, but she fully trusted him. The reason they had broken up was because she had heard a lie. But with Kim Do-ha, she felt at ease because he hadn't lied to her. Lee Gang-min couldn't do anything but offer her his congratulations. Jo Duk-chan, after watching Seon's performance video from the previous night, was unsure how to react. However, her fans loved it. He immediately called Seon to talk, but noticed something strange in her voice. She told him about the encounter she and Kim Do-ha had with Choi Eom-ho the night before. Worried about Do-ha, Jo Duk-chan rushed to his house. Seeing the extent of his injuries, Jo Duk-chan felt a pang of sympathy. Despite his injuries, Kim Do-ha insisted on staying. He then suddenly announced his intention to quit working with J Company, surprising Jo Duk-chan. Do-ha feared that if Choi Eom-ho escalated the situation, it would damage the company's reputation. As for Mok Sol-hee, he vowed to protect her. Jo Duk-chan was at a loss for what to do after hearing Kim Do-ha's words. That evening, Mok Sol-hee prepared some food for Kim Do-ha. Upon arriving at his door, she ran into Jo Duk-chan. She asked him about the confidentiality agreement from before, but he felt it was no longer necessary. He asked if she trusted Kim Do-ha, and she affirmed her complete trust in him. Instinctively, she countered, "Do you trust Kim Do-ha?" Jo Duk-chan verbally expressed his trust, but she sensed he was lying. His congratulations about their supposed relationship also felt insincere. However, after meeting with Kim Do-ha, she didn't mention this. She brought him some porridge, thinking it would be easy for him to eat, but he insisted he wasn't that ill. She then brought up Jo Duk-chan's congratulations on their relationship, but his lack of reaction disappointed her. Finally, she asked, "Do people become a couple automatically after kissing?" Kim Do-ha immediately understood and stepped closer. His proximity made her shy. He took her hand and asked, "Mok Sol-hee, will you go out with me?" He presented her with various items he owned, hoping she would agree. Seeing his earnestness, she shyly accepted his proposal. The two officially became a sweet couple. The next day, upon returning home, she saw Kim Do-ha about to leave. She showed him a letter from her father. Although it contained only pictures, it conveyed that her father was doing well. Afterwards, they went to a convenience store together. As Do-ha was about to pay, he noticed sheet music belonging to the cashier. It turned out the cashier was planning to sing at the upcoming festival and had been diligently preparing. Back home, they both seemed excited about the festival. However, she wasn't sure if it would happen, as it required the participation of more than half the shops. He encouraged her to participate because he wanted to hear the cashier sing. She, in turn, wanted him to participate with her. She noticed he often seemed lonely and wanted to help him become more involved in the community. The next morning, everyone busily packed their goods for the festival. The atmosphere gradually became lively. Seeing that his outfit wasn't suitable for the occasion, Mok Sol-hee took him to another stall to buy something more appropriate. He spotted a ball signed by her favorite team and asked the owner to hold it for him. Since their stall wasn't attracting customers, he pretended to be a customer and sampled the rice drink. His performance was so convincing that it drew a crowd, and sales picked up. Kim Do-ha's mother, upon learning he had a girlfriend, wanted to meet her. However, it was the day of the festival, so no one was at the shop. Seeing the notice on the shop door, she went to the festival. She spotted Mok Sol-hee sitting alone just as Kim Do-ha arrived with some food. He looked genuinely happy being amongst everyone. She was astonished. It had been a long time since she'd seen him with such a joyful smile. Not wanting to interrupt, she decided to leave. During a lull at the festival, Kim Do-ha and Mok Sol-hee strolled hand in hand, browsing the stalls. They were captivated by the many cute items. Kim Do-ha even bought a pair of matching bear keychains. Just then, the music performances began. They spotted the convenience store clerk from the other day struggling with a problem and went to check on him. They learned that the person he'd asked to play the accompaniment hadn't shown up. Kim Do-ha, after a quick look at the music, bravely offered to help. After a brief rehearsal, they performed together beautifully, captivating the audience. Among the spectators, someone seemed to recognize Kim Do-ha. Thanks to his help, the clerk won first prize in the music competition. With the performance over, Mok Sol-hee wanted to go back and clean up, but Kim Do-ha wanted to take her somewhere first. He retrieved the signed ball he'd asked the stall owner to hold for her. As the owner embellished the story of the ball's origins, she realized he was lying. However, not wanting to disappoint Kim Do-ha, she kept it to herself. Just then, the closing fireworks display began. She felt incredibly happy. They held hands and watched the brilliant fireworks light up the sky. Overcome with emotion, Mok Sol-hee kissed Kim Do-ha on the cheek, and he returned the gesture. Meanwhile, Lee Gang-min, seeking more information about the case, brought some gifts to his former police station to inquire about the old case. The officer in charge back then was Captain Kwak Jin Hyuk. Coincidentally, the captain was just returning from the hospital and ran into Lee Gang-min. Lee Gang-min invited the captain for a meal to discuss the case further. He questioned whether the case was truly a disappearance, as the evidence was weak. Captain Kwak Jin Hyuk argued that even if the evidence was fabricated, there was no proof it wasn't Seung-do. Moreover, Choi Eum-jae's family was struggling financially, and combined with Seung-do wanting to break up, she may have been driven to suicide. At that moment, a construction crew digging on a mountain unearthed a skeleton, alarming everyone. As Lee Gang-min and the captain were talking, Captain Kwak Jin Hyuk received a call from a subordinate reporting the discovery. Lee Gang-min accompanied the captain to the site. While examining the skeleton, he noticed a ring and quickly concealed it. Lee Gang-min suggested to the captain that the skeleton could be Choi Eum-jae's, reasoning that the area had little violent crime and was close to the beach where she disappeared. The captain told him to stay out of it. Lee Gang-min found the captain's behavior odd. After the examination, the festival ended. Everyone quickly packed up and headed home. At the shop, Kim Do-ha and Mok Sol-hee attended a gathering of the stall owners. he openly acknowledged their relationship to everyone. The chubby girl also introduced her new boyfriend, who claimed to have fallen in love with her at first sight. Mak Sol-hee sensed he was lying. While outside, Mak Sol-hee warned the chubby girl to be careful and suggested they spend more time together before committing. Upon returning to the table, she found Lee Young-yi, the convenience store clerk, had taken her seat next to Kim Do-ha. He'd witnessed Kim Do-ha's musical talent and had also seen the CEO of J Company at the festival. He asked Do-ha if he was indeed the Kim Do-ha. Do-ha confirmed his identity. Young-yi immediately wanted to become his disciple. However, Do-ha declined, stating that Young-yi was already talented. Mak Sol-hee asked everyone to keep Do-ha's identity a secret, alluding to a past mistake he'd made but not elaborating. As Kim Do-ha was about to explain, the chubby girl's boyfriend interrupted the conversation. On their way home, Mak Sol-hee asked if he had been about to reveal everything. Remembering her words, he decided he wanted to tell her everything, believing it would be a relief. He also thanked her, explaining that because of her, he was able to take off his metaphorical mask and live more freely. As they were about to kiss, Lee Young-yi suddenly appeared, startling them. Finding him passed out drunk on the ground, they had no choice but to take him back to Kim Do-ha's place. Just then, Young-yi's brother called, and Kim Do-ha answered to reassure him. However, Young-yi's loud snoring disturbed them, so Do-ha had his brother come and pick him up. Despite being heavily intoxicated, Young-yi still managed to introduce Kim Do-ha to his brother, revealing his name as YTH1A7N, the lead singer of a band under J Company. Recognizing YTH1A7N, Kim Do-ha remembered him as the person who had once asked him to compose music. At the time, he had dismissed it as a joke and left without paying much attention. Noticing they'd left their prize money behind, Kim Do-ha quickly grabbed it and gave it to them. The next morning, Mak Sol-hee and Kim Do-ha went to the Hangover Soup restaurant. She playfully mimicked his words from their first visit, surprising him. She wondered why he had agreed to eat with her back then. He revealed it was because she ate with such gusto, even reenacting her actions, which he likened to an old man. After the discovery of the skeleton, news spread rapidly. Captain Kwak Jin Hyuk quickly called for an update on the autopsy. As expected, the results indicated the skeleton belonged to a woman in her 20s who had died 5 years prior. The captain held the ring he'd found at the scene, looking worried. Kim Do-ha's mother, attending the mayoral election ceremony, received a call from Captain Kwak Jin Hyuk, making her uneasy. Since meeting Mak Sol-hee, Kim Do-ha's mood had significantly improved. His music at the bar seemed more vibrant, captivating the audience and getting them moving to the rhythm. His performance ended with thunderous applause. While Mak Sol-hee sat alone at the shop, lost in thought, Lee Gang-min came to talk to her. He affirmed his belief in her ability to detect lies. However, he wanted to know if her ability had any weaknesses. She admitted that if she couldn't hear someone speak directly, she couldn't determine their truthfulness. He posed a hypothetical. If a murderer claimed ignorance, would she believe them? She understood he was alluding to Kim Do-ha. With the discovered skeleton likely being Choi Eom-jae's, his suspicion was understandable. Furthermore, Kim Do-ha's use of tranquilizers could potentially impair his memory and perception. Despite Lee Gang-min's insinuations, she remained steadfast in her trust in Do-ha. After Lee Gang-min left, she went to the bar to find Do-ha. The bar owner, seeing her arrive, excused himself to avoid being a third wheel. She noticed Do-ha's keyboard on stage and approached it curiously. He taught her a simple melody anyone could play, and they enjoyed playing together. Although Mak Sol-hee tried to hide it, Kim Do-ha noticed she seemed troubled and wanted to know what was wrong. Not wanting to worry him, she simply hugged him. It seemed that in that moment, his embrace was all she needed. Mak Sol-hee's bodyguard loved the theme song Seon sang for a movie and had watched the film countless times. However, this time, the theater was empty. Just then, a woman entered and sat behind him, making him uncomfortable. During the movie, he heard her crying and realized it was Seon herself. He offered her a tissue and confessed he only watched the movie repeatedly for her song. Despite seeing it countless times, it still made him happy. 25. He comforted her. "If you're tired, take a break. Take as much time as you need. Even if it's my misfortune, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters." After the movie ended, he left. It seemed his encouragement had a profound impact on her. Soon after, she went to Joe Duke Chan and told him she wanted to take a break. But during this time, she wanted to compose her own music. Joe Duke Chan had no choice but to agree. After receiving the news that Choi Eom-jae's body had been found on the hill, Choi Eom-ho immediately rushed to the police station and demanded to see her remains. Ignoring the captain's explanations, he tried to attack him. Choi Eom-ho revealed that he knew about the captain accepting money from Kim Do-ha's mother. The two had been seen together frequently at the hospital where his son was staying. Choi Eom-ho had raised Lee Young-yi since she was young, so he considered her his own daughter. As a father himself, Captain Kwak Jin-hyuk surely understood his pain. He immediately called Kim Do-ha's mother to inform her. While examining the body, he had found the ring and quickly discarded it. There was no other evidence. Hearing this, she was relieved. Kim Do-ha was standing in front of Mok Sol-hee's cafe when he received a call from his mother, but he didn't want to answer. At the same time, the police called him in for questioning regarding the case. Kim Do-ha was surprised to hear that Lee Young-yi's body had been discovered on the hill. A little while later, Choi Eom-ho was finally able to see his sister's remains. He wept bitterly, heartbroken that she had been alone for 5 years. Kim Do-ha's mother called to reassure him, urging him to remain silent. She also asked about the matching ring he had worn with Choi Eom-jae years ago. He told her he had thrown it away at the beach after they broke up. Relieved, she told him to say the same thing to the police. During the interrogation, he unexpectedly changed his testimony, surprising the captain. The captain advised him to think about his family before revealing everything. After leaving the interrogation room, a kind police officer warned him to be careful of Choi Eom-ho. He was like a caged tiger set loose, looking to kill him. Leaving the police station, Kim Do-ha drove to the beach, the last place Choi Eom-jae was seen alive. From the shore, he saw the hill where Choi Eom-jae's body was found and wanted to take a look. But seeing the place where she had remained for 5 years was unbearable. Kim Do-ha sat in his car, his mind blank, unsure what to do. Seeing the food Mok Sol-hee had prepared for him lifted his spirits slightly. After seeing his sister's remains, Choi Eom-ho lost all reason, consumed by the desire for revenge against Kim Do-ha. He searched for him again and found a reporter interested in the case. From the reporter, Choi Eom-ho learned about Kim Do-ha's new address and obtained a video of him performing at the festival. After learning Do-ha's current address, he immediately went there. He carefully checked the surroundings, making sure no one was around. He covered the peephole, pulled out a knife, and slowly rang the doorbell. Hearing no response, he quickly smashed the hallway light bulb and sat in a corner, waiting for Kim Do-ha to return. Inside, Mok Sol-hee heard the noise outside and felt uneasy. At that moment, Kim Do-ha was returning from H-chin, unaware of the danger that awaited him. As the elevator doors opened, a man walked towards Kim Do-ha's apartment. Choi Eom-ho quickly lunged, stabbing him in the side. Kim Do-ha collapsed to the floor, bleeding profusely. Hearing a noise in the hallway, Mok Sol-hee had a bad feeling. Choi Eom-ho removed his mask and was surprised to discover it wasn't Kim Do-ha. Just then, the elevator doors opened again. Kim Do-ha saw Choi Eom-ho standing there with a knife, ready to attack, and fought back. At that moment, Mok Sol-hee opened her door and saw Choi Eom-ho trying to stab Kim Do-ha. Not wanting her to get hurt, he pushed her back inside and closed the door. Mok Sol-hee quickly called the police and Lee Gang-min. She opened the door again and saw Choi Eom-ho strangling Kim Do-ha. She grabbed an umbrella and hit him, but he pushed her to the ground. Just in time, Lee Gang-min arrived and saved them both. At the police station, Choi Eom-ho showed no remorse, telling the police to arrest him quickly so he could get out of jail sooner and kill Kim Do-ha. Lee Gang-min questioned both Kim Do-ha and Mok Sol-hee. He scolded her for not staying inside after calling the police. Turning to Kim Do-ha, he said, "That knife was meant for me, but why is it now hurting innocent people?" Lee Gang-min's angry rebuke filled Kim Do-ha with guilt. He hated himself for failing to protect Mok Sol-hee. Lee Young-yi was waiting anxiously outside the operating room. Seeing Kim Do-ha, he berated him, blaming himself for giving his brother Kim Do-ha's address. The doctor emerged from surgery, announcing that the operation was a success. Mok Sol-hee felt heartbroken seeing Kim Do-ha's condition. Lee Young-yi's words had deeply affected him. He almost ruined the young man's life. In moments like these, he felt like the most pathetic person in the world. He was about to visit Choi Eom-ho when he noticed Mok Sol-hee's injured leg. After taking her for an X-ray, he put her in a taxi to go home. Then he went to visit Choi Eom-ho. Dong-da felt he deserved to be punished. It turned out that while he was crying alone in his room, Park Moo-jin had approached him with an offer. If he spied on Kim Do-ha and reported back, he would be recommended for a different music group. After this incident, Dong-da wanted to take a break and stop making music. As Kim Do-ha walked into the hospital lobby, he was surrounded by reporters. Mok Sol-hee saw this and tried to reach him, but couldn't get through the crowd of reporters. In response to the reporters' questions, he stated firmly, "I didn't kill anyone, and I will find out the truth." Kim Do-ha took Mok Sol-hee to the Tarot Cafe to talk. She asked him, was it okay to answer the reporters like that? He felt he didn't want to hide anymore. After returning from H-chin, he wanted to find the real killer so that those around him wouldn't suffer any more harm. After he got home, Jo Yi-chan came to Kim Do-ha, kneeling and begging for his help. During their conversation, he learned something new. Choi Eom-jai's father often beat her and took the money she had painstakingly saved. He remembered visiting her once, but she wouldn't let him in. Her behavior was strange, and her eyes were swollen. When he asked her what was wrong, she simply replied, "It's because of you that I'm crying." At the time, he hadn't suspected anything. Jo Yi-chan let slip to Kim Do-ha. If she hadn't died then, Choi Eom-jai would have been beaten to death by her father anyway. Hearing this, Kim Do-ha suspected that her father was the murderer and had framed him. Jo Yi-chan made a deal. If Kim Do-ha gives him money, he'll tell him where her father is. While Mok Sol-hee was in turmoil, her mother suddenly appeared and scolded her. "If people find out you're dating a murder suspect, no one will believe in your honest God act anymore." No matter what her mother said, she wouldn't break up with him. That night, he told her he needed to go to H-chin to meet someone. Mok Sol-hee, worried for his safety, wanted to go with him. Kim Do-ha feared she would be in danger, but she insisted that if he was in danger, she wouldn't just stand by and watch. Mok Sol-hee promised to just watch this time, but he knew she was lying. Kim Do-ha hugged her reassuringly. Before he left, she made him pinky promise to return as soon as possible, safe and sound, without a scratch. While Kim Do-ha went to H-chin, Choi Eom-ho was transferred to prison. Before leaving, he told Lee Gang-min, "I left a notebook here. I want you to read it and not trust the H-chin police." Intrigued, Lee Gang-min read the meticulously detailed notes, including a picture of Choi Eom-jai, which surprised him. Just then, Mok Sol-hee called, wanting to thank him for his help before and inviting him to dinner. He understood her intentions, but so far, he hadn't found any new clues. Lee Gang-min still didn't trust Kim Do-ha. 5 years ago, the police had tried to bury the case quickly. He felt that if Kim Do-ha were innocent, why would he have acted that way? Not wanting her daughter to be involved with a murderer, Mok Sol-hee's mother dressed up and went to find her father. She sprayed on some perfume, which unintentionally attracted a swarm of insects. Her father saw this and told her to stay still. Surprisingly, the insects soon dispersed. He told her to leave quickly and turned to go. She then said, "Mok Sol-hee has a boyfriend, and he's a murderer." This startled him. At the same time, Park Moo-jin arrived, looking for Mok Sol-hee. He accused her of being a fraud. He had seen Kim Do-ha carrying her to the car at the hospital and had even taken a picture as evidence. He threatened to post the photo online and ruin her business. While he wasn't looking, her bodyguard deleted the picture. Park Moo-jin, believing she wasn't a liar hunter, continued to bluff, claiming he had saved the photo in multiple places. Suddenly, Mok Sol-hee turned to him with a frightening expression and said, "If Kim Do-ha were really a murderer, he'd be dead by now." At that moment, her friend screamed, scaring Park Moo-jin so badly that he ran away. Following Jo Yi-chan's lead, Kim Do-ha went to the market. He wasn't welcomed. People cursed him, calling him a murderer, and threw dirty water at him. But he didn't care. He went to a shop owned by Choi Eom-jae's father's second wife to ask about Choi Young-guk. The woman refused to answer and slammed the door in his face. He found a discarded insurance document belonging to Choi Eom-jae's father in the trash. He then went to the factory where Choi Young-guk used to work to inquire about his current whereabouts. His former colleague revealed that after Choi Eom-jae's death, he had seen Choi Young-guk frequently visiting the bank where she worked, which he found strange. The next day, Mok Sol-hee drove alone to Hchin Beach to find Kim Do-ha. He was by the shore when he received her call. As he turned around, he saw Sayeon. They embraced happily. They went together to Choi Eom-jae's former workplace. From her former colleagues, they learned that after her death, her father had repeatedly come to claim her life insurance money. Eventually, he received the payout and left gleefully. Kim Do-ha and Sayeon went back to the market to look for his new wife. At first, she had no intention of revealing his whereabouts. But after hearing them say that Choi Young-guk might kill her for the insurance money, she divulged the location where he frequently gambled. Arriving there, they were unsure how to enter and could only try to act natural. However, they were quickly exposed by two guards. At that moment, their boss recognized her. It turned out he was the one who had hired her for the mission in the first episode and was grateful to her. Since it was his territory, she and Kim Do-ha were allowed inside. He couldn't comprehend what kind of life she had lived to know these kinds of people, but she replied that her past was just as turbulent as his. Inside, he discovered Jo Yi-chan was also present. It turned out Jo Yi-chan had known Choi Eom-jae's father was there all along but hadn't revealed it, wanting to extort more money from Kim Do-ha. During questioning, Jo Yi-chan lied repeatedly, unwilling to divulge any information. But a fight at a nearby table caught their attention. Kim Do-ha, seeing the man fighting was Choi Eom-jae's father, immediately grabbed Choi Young-guk by the collar and demanded, "You killed Choi Eom-jae, didn't you?" Behind him, Mok Sol-hee waited for his answer to determine if he was the murderer. Choi Young-guk recognized Kim Do-ha as Choi Eom-jae's ex-boyfriend. When he denied killing Choi Eom-jae, she detected he wasn't lying. Unable to do anything else, Kim Do-ha released him. That night, Choi Young-guk was hounded by creditors. He wished someone would kill Choi Eom-jae so he could collect the insurance money under her name. Before her death, Choi Eom-jae had called her father, saying she wanted to die. He didn't want to tell the police because then he wouldn't receive the insurance payout. The gang boss, losing his patience, grabbed Choi Young-guk's collar and asked, "Who is the real killer?" He looked around and spotted Jo Yi-chan. He remembered him as the man who had been obsessively stalking his daughter. Knowing he'd been exposed, Jo Yi-chan fled. Reaching the street, he carjacked a vehicle. Kim Do-ha immediately gave chase in his own car. At the same time, the gang boss drove ahead to intercept them. Jo Yi-chan then turned into a narrow alleyway inaccessible to cars. However, Kim Do-ha had anticipated his escape route, taking an alternate path and successfully apprehending him. He got out of the car, grabbed Jo Yi-chan by the collar, and asked, "Did you kill Choi Eom-jae?" Confronted by Kim Do-ha's interrogation, he laughed and confessed, "I killed her." He then changed his story, claiming he was only joking. Furthermore, Jo Yi-chan claimed they had been secretly dating behind Kim Do-ha's back. At that moment, Mok Sol-hee arrived and declared he was lying. Kim Do-ha asked again, "Is he the killer?" Jo Yi-chan remained silent for a moment, then, taking advantage of Kim Do-ha's momentary distraction, pushed him away and held a knife to Mok Sol-hee's throat. He threatened to kill her. She, however, could tell he was lying. Despite this, Kim Do-ha didn't dare risk it and complied with his demands, handing over his car keys so Jo Yi-chan could escape. The gang boss immediately sent men after him. Relieved to see her safe, Kim Do-ha embraced her. On the way back, Mok Sol-hee expressed regret. If she had arrived sooner, she could have determined whether Jo Yi-chan was telling the truth. His words had been very strange. Kim Do-ha promised her that after this, he wouldn't let her go through such hardship again. She sensed the pain Kim Do-ha had endured. Although she had previously considered her superpower a curse, lately, Mok Sol-hee felt fortunate to have it. The next morning, they woke up to find they had slept in the car all night. Kim Do-ha wanted to find Jo Duk-chan to talk about Jo Yi-chan. But Mok Sol-hee disagreed. She felt that Jo Duk-chan's words seemed strange. She had caught him lying multiple times. Perhaps Jo Duk-chan knew his brother was the culprit and was trying to cover it up. No matter what anyone said, Kim Do-ha was determined to handle things himself. Kim Do-ha went to the company, ignoring the surrounding gossip and going straight to Jo Duk-chan's office. Jo Duk-chan was surprised to see him. This time, Kim Do-ha came to ask about Jo Yi-chan. But when Duk-chan realized he suspected his brother, he called Kim Do-ha a bastard. When Kim Do-ha was suspected of being the culprit, only the two brothers had treated him well. Now, he was believing Choi Eom-jae's alcoholic father, which infuriated Jo Duk-chan, who promptly kicked Kim Do-ha out. Defeated, Kim Do-ha had no choice but to leave. Lee Gang-min followed the notebook left by Choi Eom-ho to find the witness who had seen the incident. But the witness hadn't clearly seen the man's face. He also found it strange that the man had left and then returned. The news reported that Kim Do-ha had left Choi Eom-jae alone to go watch a soccer game. Lee Gang-min went to the captain to ask about the witness from back then, but the captain completely denied it. Lee Gang-min brought up the bribe the captain had accepted from Kim Do-ha's mother, which annoyed Captain Kwak Jin-hyuk. He told Lee Gang-min he was crossing the line. He also warned him that if he continued to pursue the case, he would contact the department to request a joint investigation. While walking down the street, Mok Sol-hee was stopped by a young woman who told her that a man had been coming to the cafe looking for her lately. But when asked who he was, the man refused to say anything. The woman added, "Mok Sol-hee, if you closed because of Kim Do-ha, please reopen. Everyone here believes he didn't do it." As soon as she finished speaking, the woman saw the man appear again. Mok Sol-hee recognized him as her father. They went to a small restaurant together to eat. She was curious about why he was constantly wearing sunglasses. It turned out he'd been stung by bees while rescuing her mother and had gotten used to wearing them. This time, he had come looking for her because of Kim Do-ha's situation. She told her father, "He definitely didn't do it. I heard it with my own ears." Also, when he learned about my ability, he wasn't surprised. Kim Do-ha wasn't someone who lied often, and when he trusted someone, he trusted them completely. Hearing this, her father was relieved. After they finished eating, she tried to give him a bank card, but he adamantly refused. He was the complete opposite of her mother, who constantly lied and asked her for money. As soon as she mentioned her mother called, only to be lectured by her father. Seeing her father like this, Mok Sol-hee felt even more affection for him. That evening, Kim Do-ha saw the light on in her apartment. When she didn't answer his call, he went to her door and knocked. When Mok Sol-hee opened the door, he apologized for not believing her. But at that moment, her expression was filled with worry, and she didn't seem to hear him. It turned out her pet turtle, Loni, was missing. They split up to search. Kim Do-ha found a lot of things under her sofa, including a stuffed turtle with a light on its back. After turning off the lights, the room became even more enchanting. They then searched every corner of the apartment. A little while later, Kim Do-ha found Loni under the sink. Seeing Loni, Mok Sol-hee's mood brightened. It turned out she and Loni had been together since middle school. She told Loni everything because it couldn't reveal her secrets. Kim Do-ha told her that when he went to Jo Duk-chan to ask about Jo Yi-chan, he hadn't revealed anything and had even yelled at him. She admired him for this, as she had never fully trusted anyone. While she was feeding Loni, Kim Do-ha received a message from Lee Gang-min. A short while later, Kim Do-ha met with Lee Gang-min. He suspected Jo Yi-chan was the real killer because he had always liked Choi Eom-jae. But he still didn't know for sure. The urgent matter now was to find Jo Yi-chan quickly. Confirming this only deepened Lee Gang-min's confusion, as the person he suspected was the very one who had provided Kim Do-ha with an alibi. Before leaving, Kim Do-ha told Lee Gang-min never to call him out secretly again. He wasn't good at lying and couldn't lie to Mok Sol-hee. The next morning, they went to Zhou Yichan's shop, but it was empty. Suddenly, a man arrived, also looking for Zhou Yichan to collect a debt, but he wasn't there. Seeing this, Mok Sol-hee put on her acting skills, pretending to be another victim like the man to get the number of one of Zhou Yichan's colleagues. This surprised Kim Do-ha. But as soon as the colleague answered, the man on the other end said he was also a victim, scaring the colleague into hanging up immediately. On their way back, Kim Do-ha received a call from the gang boss, who told him that Zhou Yichan had been caught gambling at a casino. They followed the address he provided, but by the time they arrived, Zhou Yichan had already been released. Zhou Yichan was indebted to the two men running the casino, so Zhou Duk-chan had gotten there first, bailed his brother out, and told the men to act as if he had escaped. However, Mok Sol-hee detected that he was lying. After returning home, Kim Do-ha called Zhou Duk-chan to apologize for their previous encounter. But in reality, he wanted to gauge Zhou Duk-chan's reaction to his call. Just as Kim Do-ha hung up, Zhou Yichan unexpectedly appeared at Zhou Duk-chan's house. As suspected, he was covering for his brother. However, they couldn't tell if he was deliberately covering for a murderer or if he was doing so unknowingly. At the same time, Lee Gang-min called, wanting to talk to them. As soon as they met, Lee Gang-min asked, "There were only 2 rings made, right?" It turned out that Captain Kwak Jin Hyuk had previously visited Lee Gang-min and given him the ring found on Choi Eom-jai's body. He also admitted to accepting money from Kim Do-ha's mother to treat his daughter's illness. It seemed his daughter was now paying the price for his actions. Lee Gang-min sat in his office, investigating the ring's origin when a colleague noticed. Thanks to this colleague, Lee Gang-min gained a small clue. The rings were a custom-designed pair, meaning there shouldn't be a third. Hearing this, Lee Gang-min visited jewelry design shops capable of making such a ring. He inquired at several shops but found no leads. One shop owner suggested he try the most famous shop from that time. Upon seeing the ring, the shop owner immediately recognized it. It was a unique design, and indeed, Kim Do-ha had commissioned it. But a week later, a man had come in and requested another ring, a men's ring this time. He had changed the ring size from a 16 to a 17. The ring found on Choi Eom-jai was the remade size 17 ring. The shop owner gave Lee Gang-min the phone number the man had left, but the number was no longer in service. Lee Gang-min then showed Kim Do-ha the matching ring found with Choi Eom-jai's body. This ring undoubtedly belonged to the killer. The person must have been close to Kim Do-ha to know where he had the ring made and then request a duplicate. Lee Gang-min showed Kim Do-ha the phone number the man had left. It belonged to a bar that had gone bankrupt years ago. Kim Do-ha instantly recognized it as the place where Zhou Yichan had once worked. All the evidence pointed to Zhou Yichan as the murderer. Meanwhile, Kim Do-ha's mother was celebrating her campaign. But suddenly, the clip of her conversation with Captain Kwak Jin Hyuk was leaked online. The truth was exposed. The clip showed that she had bribed him and instructed him to suppress any negative information about Kim Do-ha's case through the media. The news had spread far and wide. Kim Do-ha and Mok Sol-hee, having just seen the news, were at a loss for what to do as people continued to believe the ring belonged to him. Public pressure mounted, causing him immense anxiety. This time, Kim Do-ha wanted to entrust her with finding Zhou Yichan's whereabouts from Zhou Duk-chan. This required his acting skills to deceive him. Mok Sol-hee gave Kim Do-ha a vibrating device. If the other party told the truth, she would press it once. If he lied, she would press it twice. Shortly after, he borrowed a bar as a meeting place with Zhou Duk-chan. A while later, he arrived. Mok Sol-hee hid nearby to eavesdrop on their conversation. Zhou Duk-chan was surprised to learn that Kim Do-ha frequented the bar to play the piano. Kim Do-ha asked him if he was hiding his younger brother. But when Zhou Duk-chan answered, Mok Sol-hee realized he was lying. He already knew about the ring, so Zhou Duk-chan claimed it belonged to Kim Do-ha. However, Mok Sol-hee sensed his deception and signaled Kim Do-ha. When he finally asked where Zhou Yichan was, Zhou Duk-chan checked the time on his phone and said, "He's probably turning himself in at the H-chin police station right about now." This surprised Kim Do-ha. Zhou Duk-chan admitted that he had been covering for Zhou Yichan all these years. But now, knowing he couldn't hide it any longer, He had persuaded his brother to confess. Kim Do-ha couldn't contain his emotions. Jo Duk-chan couldn't hide it any longer because Jo Yi-chan was his own brother. After Jo Yi-chan arrived at the H-Chin police station to confess, an internal investigation was underway, so he was transferred to the police station where Lee Gang-min worked for the investigation. News of Jo Yi-chan's surrender spread across the internet. Choi Eom-ho, serving his sentence in prison, was also shocked by the news. It turned out the person he had been searching for wasn't Kim Do-ha. He hadn't considered the possibility of another perpetrator. This filled Choi Eom-ho with guilt, unsure how to face him. Despite the real culprit being caught, Kim Do-ha felt no relief. He even thought he was no longer connected to Choi Eom-jae's death. Mok Sol-hee encouraged him, "If you keep this up, when will you ever be happy?" Her comforting words seemed to lift his spirits. He took Mok Sol-hee's hand. After the culprit's arrest, he visited his mother. She criticized him. "If you weren't the murderer, why did you initially confess and then change your testimony, making me doubt my own son?" She, being his mother, always wanted to protect him from harm. But she had forgotten that, at that time, Kim Do-ha needed her unconditional belief. Hearing this, she was touched. After the case closed, the entertainment faced difficulties as many partners wanted to terminate their contracts. Even their representative singer, Seon, wanted to leave. But Jo Duk-chan appealed to her emotions to stay. Seon had witnessed the company's growth from nothing. Did she want to watch it crumble now? She declared, "If you can convince Kim Do-ha to stay, I will too." Later, Jo Duk-chan invited Kim Do-ha to the company for a meeting. Kim Do-ha also wanted to know when Jo Duk-chan learned his brother was the murderer. He claimed to have only discovered it after finding Choi Eom-jae's body. Jo Duk-chan apologized to Kim Do-ha and asked him to trust him again. He also shared the company's current struggles. Most people around him were leaving. He was even going through a divorce, which reminded Kim Do-ha of his own past. So, Kim Do-ha resolved to do everything in his power to help the company overcome its difficulties. He hoped Kim Do-ha would attend the company's future vision announcement ceremony on Friday evening so everyone could see they were still as they were before. Mok Sol-hee took Kim Do-ha to the bar, wanting to surprise him. The others there had prepared a party to celebrate his official exoneration. His uncle gave him a scrapbook filled with pictures, moving him to tears. Perhaps the person he wanted to thank most at this moment was Mok Sol-hee. Thanks to her, he realized how good it was to have someone by his side. Now, he could finally be with all the people he cherished. Encouraged by everyone, the two kissed in the interrogation room. Jo Yi-chan looked like he'd lost his soul when Lee Gang-min presented the ring as evidence. He confessed to killing Choi Eom-jae. He claimed that on that day, while drinking at a bar, a friend told him Kim Do-ha and Choi Eom-jae had a loud argument, and she was sitting alone by the seashore. He went to check on her and saw Jo Yi-chan pulling her up the mountain to talk. During a heated argument, he lost control and pushed her, causing her to hit her head on a rock. Seeing her bleeding profusely, he panicked and went back to watch soccer with Jo Duk-chan. He then used Choi Eom-jae's phone to send negative messages to her brother, staging it as a suicide. He initially stated he threw her clothes into the ocean, but later claimed in his statement that he burned them. When Lee Gang-min questioned the discrepancy, he claimed it was a mistake. For an ordinary person, the events of a day might be forgotten. But that was a haunting day, leaving a deep impression. Realizing he'd slipped up, Jo Yi-chan refused to answer further questions until his lawyer arrived. Lee Gang-min felt something was amiss. That evening, he sought out Mok Sol-hee. He said, "Something's not right. If Jo Yi-chan is the culprit, why did the brothers vouch for Kim Do-ha back then? And if it was just for Kim Do-ha, Jo Duk-chan wouldn't have asked his brother to confess." Lee Gang-min suspected Jo Duk-chan's involvement in the case, so Mok Sol-hee decided to visit Jo Yi-chan the next day. After returning, Mok Sol-hee went to Kim Do-ha's house and knocked. He was still discussing the next evening's event with Jo Duk-chan. Seeing him so happy, she decided not to worry him. The following morning, she visited Jo Yi-chan in jail. She relayed a message from Jo Duk-chan: "The plan has failed." This made him wary. He asked, "What plan, and why didn't he come himself?" Learning that Kim Do-ha and Jo Duk-chan were attending the company event that day, Jo Yi-chan became agitated. He had assumed they would be estranged after he confessed to killing Choi Eom-jae. But Mok Sol-hee detected his lie. Taking advantage of his unstable state, she mentioned how Jo Duk-chan would choose Kim Do-ha if they both fell into the water. Furthermore, she told him she'd found additional evidence proving his guilt, but wouldn't reveal what it was. Terrified, he started crying and claimed he wasn't the murderer. He insisted the real killer was Jo Duk-chan. It turned out that before Jo Yi-chan confessed, Jo Duk-chan had admitted everything and told him to turn himself in. If he's exposed as the murderer, both your lives are over. After learning about the evidence in Jo Duk-chan's office, she immediately drove there. At this point, Jo Duk-chan, still unaware that his murder of Choi Eom-jae had been exposed, went to the party with Kim Do-ha. Seon, upon seeing Kim Do-ha, immediately ran to hug him. At the party, Jo Duk-chan officially resigned as CEO of J Entertainment, and Kim Do-ha was announced as his successor. Kim Do-ha was surprised but politely declined the offer. Mok Sol-hee rushed to Jo Duk-chan's office, searching frantically but unable to locate the evidence. Lee Gang-min called, informing her the evidence was hidden in a safe, but she didn't know the combination. Immediately thinking Kim Do-ha might know, she called him. Learning that Jo Duk-chan was the real killer of Choi Eom-jae, Kim Do-ha was in disbelief. Jo Duk-chan, oblivious, looked at him cheerfully. Mok Sol-hee tried various combinations on the safe, but none worked. She then noticed a picture of Jo Duk-chan and Kim Do-ha together. Their closeness surprised her. Seeing that Jo Duk-chan had marked Kim Do-ha's birthday, September 4th, on the photo, Mok Sol-hee guessed it might be the safe combination. Shortly after, Jo Duk-chan returned to his office. He approached the safe to open it, but it was empty. Mok Sol-hee had managed to open it, retrieve the evidence, and escape. However, Jo Duk-chan chased after her. He revealed he had intended to confess, but hesitated because of Kim Do-ha. He admitted his feelings for Kim Do-ha and begged her not to tell him. Unbeknownst to them, Kim Do-ha had overheard everything. Seeing Kim Do-ha, Jo Duk-chan fled, but Lee Gang-min apprehended him at the door. As the police escorted Jo Duk-chan to their car, he overpowered them, got into the vehicle, and sped off. Hearing the commotion, Lee Gang-min ran outside and, seeing Jo Duk-chan escaping, immediately gave chase. Jo Duk-chan, seemingly suicidal, unbuckled his seatbelt, closed his eyes, and accelerated towards a construction site. People rushed to pull Jo Duk-chan from the wreckage and administer first aid. Just then, Mok Sol-hee arrived, but the car exploded, knocking her to the ground and causing a ringing in her ears. Mok Sol-hee and Lee Gang-min were rushed to the hospital. She had only minor injuries and quickly regained consciousness. Wanting to go home to rest, she told Kim Do-ha to stay with Jo Duk-chan, believing he needed him more. After she left, Kim Do-ha thanked Lee Gang-min, who credited Mok Sol-hee. From the moment she met with Jo Yi-chan, she suspected Jo Duk-chan and acted immediately. Initially, Lee Gang-min resented Mok Sol-hee's abilities. Those same abilities had led to their misunderstanding and breakup. But in the end, they helped Kim Do-ha. After surgery, Jo Duk-chan awoke. Kim Do-ha asked him what would become of everyone else if he died. The evidence had been handed over to the police. He explained he hadn't intended to kill Choi Eom-jae. That day, he waited for Kim Do-ha to watch soccer, but he never showed. He went to the beach alone and found Choi Eom-jae there. She knew about his feelings for Kim Do-ha and told him to stop. When she tried to leave, he pulled her up the hill to talk. Choi Eom-jae found Jo Duk-chan's necklace and realized it was a matching pair with Kim Do-ha's ring. They argued loudly. When she threatened to tell Kim Do-ha, he became enraged. In a moment of fury, he pushed her, causing her to hit her head on a rock. Finding her unresponsive, he panicked and ran to check on her. At the same time, Jo Yi-chan called, saying he saw Do-ha arguing at a bar and asked him to take him home. Thinking that if she died, Kim Do-ha would be his, he took her phone and left. He texted her brother, faking a suicide. After returning, he realized the ring was missing, so he immediately went back to look for it, but only found the necklace. The ring disappeared from then on. He intended to burn the shirt, But fearing that Kim Do-ha would take the blame for him someday, Jo Duk-chan kept it. He vowed to confess if anything happened. But things continued as they were, until one day the truth gradually came to light. He decided to confess, but first he had to settle company matters and get a divorce. So, Jo Duk-chan asked Jo Yi-chan to confess in his place. After that, the case was officially closed, with the real culprit being the CEO of J Entertainment. The media widely reported on the case. After many years, Kim Do-ha was finally cleared of all charges. Mok Sol-hee and Kim Do-ha went to Choi Eom-jae's funeral. Her brother saw Kim Do-ha offering incense to her and felt very guilty towards him. The pain was immense for Mok Sol-hee, who always considered Choi Eom-jae like a daughter. After everything ended, she sat in front of the tarot cafe, feeling strange. Lately, she could no longer hear the lies of the people around her. At the same time, Lee Gang-min's colleague came to buy some drinks to take back to the police station. She even wrote a note and stuck it on Lee Gang-min's cup, making Kim Do-ha jealous. After the police officer left, he asked her since when she had addressed Lee Gang-min that way. Noticing Kim Do-ha's jealousy, she acted cute and called him honey or darling. Hearing this, he choked on his drink. Her best friend and bodyguard, a little surprised, left to give them some privacy. Mok Sol-hee continued her work. This time, a man asked her to listen and see if the girl he liked him back. He seemed very confident in himself. At the cafe, the girl told him the reason was that she was too busy. But Mok Sol-hee could tell she was lying. She was rejecting him because she already had a child, although she wasn't married. The two pointed out each other's flaws, neither willing to concede. A little later, the woman admitted she had lied. She told the man to quickly say he didn't like her anymore. After the two left, her bodyguard, not understanding what was going on, went in to find her. Mok Sol-hee didn't say anything, only told him to tell her best friend to refund the man's money, plus compensation. That evening, when she got home, Kim Do-ha said that she couldn't hear lies anymore. He thought the explosion was so loud that it had affected her hearing. But this had never happened to Mok Sol-hee before, so she was very confused. Kim Do-ha thought this might be a good thing, because from now on she could make friends without having to hear lies in crowds. But Mok Sol-hee felt like everyone was deceiving her, so she couldn't stand it. Kim Do-ha was at home composing music when he suddenly received a call from Seon. She wanted to meet him to talk for a bit. At that time, everyone was bored because there were no customers, when Seon suddenly arrived. She said she wanted to talk to Kim Do-ha for a moment, so she hoped no one would misunderstand. But as soon as she met him, she acted affectionately, making Mok Sol-hee feel a little incredulous. It turned out that Seon had found another company and wanted to invite him to work with her. But he needed to think about it. He wanted to talk to a few people before making a decision. As Seon reached the door, Mok Sol-hee's bodyguard held an umbrella for her. Worried about her safety, he wanted to escort her to her car. Seeing his kind demeanor and knowing he wanted to be her bodyguard, she asked for his number. But first, he had to quit his job at the cafe. After Seon left, Kim Do-ha and Mok Sol-hee went to see a play together. They enjoyed the performance and laughed heartily. On the way home, she wanted to go out to eat with him, but Kim Do-ha said he had something to do and needed to go home immediately. Although it wasn't urgent, it was weighing on his mind. Mok Sol-hee looked disappointed, but he wanted to surprise her. As soon as he got home, he rushed into the kitchen to prepare a meal. Unsure how to cook, he followed online instructions. He clearly put a lot of effort into this meal. Mok Sol-hee returned home feeling upset that their date didn't include dinner. Hungry, she lay on the couch. Just then, Kim Do-ha told her to come over to his place for dinner. She was surprised to see the elaborate meal he had prepared himself. After enjoying dinner together, they watched a movie. Mok Sol-hee told him that she felt it was actually good that she couldn't hear lies anymore. In the romantic atmosphere, they shared a kiss. Mok Sol-hee's father was selling goods at the market next to an elderly woman when a man carelessly drove into the woman's stall. At that moment, Mok Sol-hee's mother stepped out of the car. Seeing Mok Sol-hee's father there, she stood aside and watched him leave. Business at the Tarot Cafe had been picking up lately. As Baek Kai-hoon was about to talk to Mok Sol-hee, Lee Gang-min arrived, so he had to postpone their conversation. The two men went outside to talk, and Lee Gang-min told her he probably wouldn't be able to come to her cafe anymore. Since becoming friends with her, he still hadn't been able to fully adjust. Mok Sol-hee felt guilty that she hadn't been able to be there for Lee Gang-min during his difficult times, but in his heart, Mok Sol-hee had always been with him, helping him through his illness. So, from now on, they would simply smile at each other in passing. Before he left, she thanked him for everything. Baek Kai-hoon still hadn't confessed his feelings to Mok Sol-hee, fearing she would be upset. Just then, she returned from talking to Lee Gang-min. He mustered his courage and told her he might have to quit his job. Upon hearing that Seon had offered him a job, she was happy for him, because it had been his dream for a long time. That evening, as Kim Do-ha was helping Mok Sol-hee clean up, her mother suddenly arrived. Flustered and unsure where to hide him, she ushered him into her room. Annoyed by her mother's arrival, Mok Sol-hee quickly tried to send her home. But her mother said she was running away. She felt her father, despite his old-fashioned clothes, was more attractive than the other man. She had thought her father broke up with her because he was ashamed of her criminal record and no longer loved her. So, she blamed Mok Sol-hee for everything. Because of Mok Sol-hee's special ability, her mother had wanted to extort money from her to feel better. After learning the real reason for the divorce, she felt relieved even though she didn't receive any money. She wanted Mok Sol-hee to go with her to see her father the next day. But since her ability was gone, Mok Sol-hee refused. Despite this, her mother still wanted her to go with her the next day. Kim Do-ha, hiding in the room, overheard everything and told Mok Sol-hee to go with her mother. That way, they might speak honestly and even reconcile. The next morning, she went up the mountain to see her father. He was happy to see her. She helped her mother explain that things weren't as he had thought all those years ago. But he felt that his ex-wife hadn't changed at all. Overhearing him from a distance, she indignantly approached to explain. Unwilling to listen, he told her to leave quickly to avoid misunderstandings with the other man. He turned to leave, and she angrily threw nearby twigs at him. She wanted an apology. But even so, she couldn't live there. Her favorite foods wouldn't be delivered, and there was no hot water for showers in the mornings. Mok Sol-hee suggested buying a small apartment, but her father refused. She started citing things he'd said in the video to criticize him. However, Mok Sol-hee could no longer hear lies, so she assumed everything they said was true. Heartbroken, she left. She went to Kim Do-ha's house and hugged him, finding comfort in his presence. Kim Do-ha consoled her, saying they were just speaking in the heat of the moment. Later, they would regret hurting each other with their words. She had thought things would get better, but now they were worse. Kim Do-ha's mother was still under investigation. After the case came to light, this was the price she had to pay for her mistakes. She felt like a bad mother for not trusting him. Kim Do-ha told her he was dating, but she had already seen Mok Sol-hee at the festival. He had looked so happy with her. She felt guilty for letting him live under the name Kim Do-ha for so long. Mok Sol-hee was at the cafe when she saw her father arrive. He seemed worried that she could no longer distinguish truth from lies, but she was getting used to it. Her mother had assumed he wouldn't love her because of her criminal record. But it was all a misunderstanding. He advised her to cherish her simple happiness, which he himself couldn't grasp. While she was talking to her friend, her father suddenly appeared, saying he wanted to talk to her mother. But her mother was picking out a dress for a meeting with the sister of the other man that evening. Her mother told her to come and meet them for just 5 minutes. Before she could react, her mother hung up. Just then, Kim Do-ha arrived. Seeing her father, he introduced himself as Mok Sol-hee's boyfriend. She wanted him to help her prepare her father for the meeting with her mother. They chose a nice suit and shoes for him. Kim Do-ha polished his shoes, while her friend cut his hair to make him look more handsome. Kim Do-ha then called her into a room to choose a ring. They picked one with a large gem for her mother. That evening, her mother was laughing with the other man's sisters. Seeing Mok Sol-hee's father, looking dapper, walking towards her, she became nervous. Expecting him to join her, he sat at a nearby table, observing. His presence made her uneasy. Listening to their conversation, he couldn't stand it anymore and interjected, pointing out that she was allergic to cat hair and disliked sour drinks, yet they had ordered lemon tea. He remembered all her preferences. She stood up and asked him what he was doing there. He pulled their wedding ring from his pocket, asking her to come back to him, but she refused. Suddenly, Mok Sol-hee's power returned. She heard the lie in her mother's words and rushed over, declaring that her mother was lying and actually wanted to reconcile. Hearing this, her mother burst into tears like a child, and her father bravely stepped forward, embracing her in a comforting hug. Driving home, Mok Sol-hee called Kim Do-ha. She had grown accustomed to not having her ability, and its sudden return left her unsure what to do. After the song Kim Do-ha and Lee Young-yi composed was successfully recorded by YTH1A7N, it became a sensation among young people. The song received widespread support everywhere. At the Korean Music Awards, Kim Do-ha won first prize for the single album he wrote for YTH1A7N, which had been enthusiastically received. He thanked Mok Sol-hee for believing in him more than he believed in himself, helping him overcome difficulties and be present at the ceremony. The next day, Kim Do-ha visited Jo Duk-chan in prison. He revealed the secret he had buried deep within his heart. On the day of the incident, Choi Eom-jae had been composing a text message to him but hadn't sent it. She felt her life was like the sea at night, but since meeting him, everything had changed. She had been contemplating suicide, but it wasn't Kim Do-ha's fault. She wanted him to stop blaming himself and live a good life. Mok Sol-hee's parents, now back together, were living in the mountains, but her mother struggled to adapt to the environment. One day, the screenwriter for the show, I Am a Nature Person, traveled a long way to try her father's bibimbap. Seeing a business opportunity, she helped him open a bibimbap restaurant. The following day, Kim Do-ha went to the cafe and gave Mok Sol-hee a tarot card representing marriage. On the back, he had written, "Marry me." He took a ring from his pocket, knelt down, and proposed. He wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. He placed the ring on her finger, filling her with joy. Mok Sol-hee returned home and wrote a message to all her VIP clients. She thanked them for their trust in her services. However, she was officially discontinuing those services. She had been relying on detecting lies to make money. But after everything that had happened, she realized that lies weren't always malicious. A kind lie could be better than a harsh truth. People had sought her out for various reasons, but now she no longer wanted to use her ability. Instead, she wanted to believe in love and trust herself more.